Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, and good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Welcome to another episode of The Morning Glow. Got a great broadcast lineup for you this morning, as I hope and I pray that we always do. I'm not important, just a question asker. My name is Raheem Aljamain from Atlanta, Georgia. And we got a couple of things we're going to talk about today. We got the family's going to be together. We're going to all get together. We're going to have this conversation. We're going to discuss it. Might get a little heated, might get a little turbulent, might be a little turbulence along the way, but that's okay because we're gonna make our destination. We're gonna make it to our destination. I promise you, we are going to get there. And for you, the phone lines are open 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We definitely love to hear from each and every one of you. Um, Before we get into that, I want to talk to you about this. Please, please, each and every one of you that's listening to the sound of my voice, if you're listening to me live right now, or if you listen to the pre-recorded, the recording later on, tomorrow is the day. Tuesday is the day. Please go down and vote. Please cast your vote. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for or how to vote or which party to vote for. I'm not going to get into all that. That's not my business. But my business is telling you that you need to get out there and you need to cast your vote. Let your voice be heard. There are so many different things that's going on in this world. There's so many in history. There are so many people that has given their. I keep saying I can't say that. There are so many people that had their lives taken. I don't necessarily like saying given their lives, and they knew that it was a possibility that they could get killed in doing what they're doing, but they did it nevertheless. For you to have the right to vote, please exercise your right. Don't don't let it be a slap in the face of our elders. And when I say that, I'm talking across the board. There's black people, white people, Indian, or whatever it is. A lot of people has come together and they have fought for the right. They fought for the right for you individually, you to have the right to vote. Don't slap them in the face. I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. It's not my place to tell you who to vote for. But I will tell you, please, please, I do want you to vote. I want you to vote. Whether you vote the way I vote or you don't. That's not important to me. What is important to me is that you take the time, seize the moment, and let your voice be heard. Please let your voice be heard. Go out there today. You could actually go out. I think you can go out there still today and do the early voting. But I know I'm voting tomorrow. My wife and I, we always get together on the day, on that day, and I guess we treat it like some kind of vacation day, holiday, whatever you want to call it. But we get out there and we vote. We're going to vote. We're gonna have our little sticker they gave you. We're gonna have that little sticker on our chest. But we will vote. I promise you. God said the same. We will vote. And I think it's very important. Toya with a T. There go my sister. Toya, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning, good morning. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Toya with a T, we're talking about the importance. We're talking right now because tomorrow is the day. You have to get out there and vote. And some people has voted early. And it's been a great turnout. I want to applaud everybody that has actually gone out there and already voted, cast their votes already, because a lot of people have done it. But my thing is, my wife and I, we usually get together on that day, and we'll meet up. We'll vote together. We'll go maybe go grab us something to eat or something like that, and that's how we usually do that. But Toya, how important is it that, especially in this day and time, that we vote? Is it an insult to a lot of our elders that if we don't vote?
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's an insult to a lot of people who have died.
Mm-hmm.
It's tricky being black in America only because there's so many things that we could not do just because we were black.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
we fought because we built this place. We fought for positions
Come on.
of political power, of law enforcement, of education, in every aspect you can think that it takes to operate this
Mhm.
country. We have fought to get a place there.
Mhm.
So soon as we start to slack on just being black, which means I have a right to voice an opinion on who operates our country,
Mhm.
or I have a right to choose and work the job that I want to. All that goes hand in hand. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if we do not stand up for the vote, that means next we're going to go back into where we can and cannot eat. See, all of that works hand in hand.
Mm-hmm.
The voting process controls the process on why you got to eat at the back of the stove and not the front of the stove, which controls the process on where you can work, where you can't work. All of this works hand in hand. So if we drop the ball with the first page or the first part of the game, which is the voting process,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be very hard to be able to keep up the rest of the game. So, voting is very important. I know it's been a very long journey being Black in America
Yes.
and, not having some of the results come through the way we want. But we have to keep in mind the same way the government is going to take money from your check, there are just things that we have to do being an American.
Mm-hmm.
Voting is one of them if you're Black in America.
Exactly. Now, Toya, I want to touch on something that you just said, and it's so powerful, and I'm glad you brought it to the conversation. Do you think that people, because a lot of people will say, and they have the idea or the mentality because they've never really had to deal with it on the level that we have to deal with it. And we say it all the time because we made it. We know what our experience. See, we know what our experience is being Black in America. But what would you
Yeah.
say to the person, to an individual that's not black, would say, well, being Black in America ain't no different than nothing else. We all in America. We all in this big melting pot together. What makes your experience worse than ours? Toya,
Yeah.
without cussing, without cussing them out.
Yeah.
What would you say to that person?
I mean, probably for you, but we can put it into another perspective. Um, if you decide to work for Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Bezos is your CEO,
Yes.
and he allows you to give suggestions and compliments on how to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
If you find yourself working in that company and there are struggles, how would you feel not having a voice about it?
Mm-hmm.
You can't say anything. You just got to do whatever they say do. That's the same importance of voting. We have to understand that there are always going to be things that are going to be unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? They're going
Mm-hmm.
to be unfair because there's going to be some leader at the top that has sole control or has a large majority of the controlling interest to do things against that person's will or what will be to the betterment of them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you describe the voting process. It's different for whites in America when it comes to voting. It's different for KKK people when it comes to voting. It's different for women. It's different for blacks. Like everybody has it. Different for drug dealers in voting. Like every sector that we run in America, whether it's legal or illegal, we have processes that we do. And
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to fairness, when it comes to getting things in line, when it comes to trying to maintain the human standard or the needs of the people, that's the voting process. So you
Mm-hmm.
can sit here and continue to act like you don't understand the voting process because you're a non-Black individual, but from a perspective of business, when it comes to sending down orders, creating laws and ordinances, if it's going to affect me because I'm Black, understand it's going to affect all Americans. So
Mm-hmm.
don't sleep on the fact that I'm speaking from a Black perspective. You need to focus more on me speaking from an American perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they come for me, they're coming for you.
Exactly. Exactly. So, Toya, would you say that the experience, and we're gonna talk about the overall blanket experience of being Black in America, is it rougher? Is it rougher than anybody else's experience?
You know what? That's hard to say because life is challenging like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like, well, some people have it rougher for being Black, but I know some white people that has had it rougher than some Black people.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I know some Black people who they green and everything is swell and nothing's ever gone wrong. I just done everything I'm supposed to. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you and
Mm-hmm.
17 other Black folks, but for the other 200 and some 100,000 or the million, the 13, 12 million that it is of us, uh, we got some challenges.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Um, when it comes to what we go through in America, you got to kind of look at it like on how you deal with God. Everything is on an individual basis. It don't matter
Mm-hmm.
what everybody else going through. I know
Mm-hmm.
for me being black in America, I've had some challenges
Yeah.
being black in
Yeah.
America. I had
Exactly.
challenges that I didn't think existed no more. Like, no, I bust my butt as a black female. White men, they're not gonna pay them more than me
Mm-hmm.
until I made the discovery that they do pay a white man to not only do the same job that I do, but he doesn't have to bust his butt like me.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't have the same requirements like me. He doesn't have to go through the same things as me. So until I acknowledged and saw the fact that that's what it was,
Yeah.
I mean, it was what it is. But for the most part, as a black female in America, I have had challenges. I'm not going to blame it on a specific race. I'm not going to blame it on a specific individual. But what I
Mm.
am going to say is being black, living in American culture, we have a lot of challenges that this great nation should already have moved past
Mm-hmm.
that we have not. You know what I mean? They're
Mm-hmm.
still holding us back to an extent. Trying to make it seem like it's not them holding us back, but just something like what we're going through with this voting process, with inflation going up and wages going down, with them being able to manipulate us from natural disasters and wars. That part right there lets me know, that America helps contribute um, to some of the oppression that we go through. Again, not only as Black people, but as Americans.
Toya, something just came back to my memory. I was speaking to somebody. Oh man, this had to be a few months ago. I think it was maybe about a month and a half, 2 months ago, and we was talking about a young lady that is being abused. She's been abused in a household, and we're gonna talk about this later on. I didn't want to go here now because that's gonna be what we're gonna talk about later on. But she was abused in a household. Now
Yeah,
she didn't have any physical scars. He didn't leave any that you could see, that we could see.
right,
He didn't leave.
right.
We don't know what it looked like up on her clothing, uh, but he didn't leave any physical scars that could be seen. But we would see her from time to time just crying, and people didn't believe that this was what people say was a good dude. He was a good dude, um, but he was beating her. He was beating her at home. When he got home, for whatever reason, he found the need to whoop her and do all kind of stuff to her that she certainly did not deserve. I asked the question. I say, because of the fact that you don't see it, because of the fact that you don't see him doing that, don't mean it's not happening. And so
Hmm.
it came to my mind when you were saying that, that it came to my mind because a lot of times people can't see the experience that
The
we have
abuse.
had here in
Hmm.
America, but because you don't
Hmm.
see it, don't mean it did not
Hmm.
happen. Because
That's
you
right.
because you don't see what the experience is, because you have to walk in our skin. A lot of times, in order to understand and to realize that it is going on, you have to walk in our skin. And a lot of our quote unquote Caucasian brothers and sisters or people outside of our race don't want to walk in our skin. They don't want to.
Right,
Now, what are you afraid
right,
of? What are you afraid of?
right,
If you say that
right.
it's not happening, there's no way, man. It's soon to be 2023. All that's beautiful. All that sounds good. It's a beautiful little song that you're singing. It's a beautiful little song that you're singing. But unless
Hmm.
or until you walk in our skin, walk
Right,
in the store, go to a restaurant,
right.
even in 2022, soon to be 2023, go in certain places with that skin on.
Yeah,
Then you'll really understand. But unless or until you do that, you'll never know. And you'll be walking around with
yeah.
blinders on because it does not affect you. Go ahead, Toya.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. No, see, that's a misconception. They know very well. They've been through it. Um, and their families at times. Some people, and Rico says this all the time, that fake it till you make it people.
Yes,
A
yes.
lot of us have come from abusive backgrounds, white and black. And oftentimes when people try to act like they don't see it, it's something that they hide from their own selves because that's that better you than me mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as I'm not walking in those shoes and you are, I
Check,
can
check,
always
check.
say that because I know it's true, but it's better you than me.
Mm-hmm.
The mind is very strong. And sometimes, in order to be able to cope and just get by, you can't acknowledge the truth.
Mm-hmm.
The truth will consume you. And not only will it consume you, when you think about the position that you may be in, according to those people, sometimes life is just better left with those people staying where they're at and not getting into that because I don't
Mm-hmm.
want no parts of that. You know what I mean? And that is not only from a color perspective because that's the difference between a house nigga and a field nigga.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about color. It's about the mental capacity of, hey, that's them out there in the field. I don't want nothing to do with that. We's sick, massa. That's a coping mindset that, you know, people have to deal with to survive. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whether you're a female and you're a prostitute, that's not normal.
Mm-hmm.
But that's how you cope to survive.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so I think that it's the same way when it comes to acknowledging. We're gonna call them the have and the have-nots.
Mm-hmm.
When you are the have, that ain't your reality. So how you gonna face it? But you glad you're not like that. So of course you're gonna think of excuses because that's a mechanism for one that Satan does. To distract you and to help you not have gratitude.
Exactly.
Um, but I think you know what I'm saying. But I think for
Mm-hmm.
the most part, we have to um, just be honest about what really goes on. And a lot of us, we just really can't do that because, hey, we're just coming from a world and you don't want to identify with that. So, no, that's that fake until you make it
Mm-hmm.
academy. They make it seem like they
Yeah.
ain't never been through it. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they
Mm-hmm.
have. They just, they just deal with it differently.
Exactly. And I was told that my audio was gone. See, something's going on with my audio. So if it's back up, send me a message. Let me know because I don't know what happened. It's appearing to be unless um the page has done something. But is the audio back? Can you hear me now? Anybody that's listening, type in the box if you can hear me. Okay, it's good. It's good. Okay, good deal. Good deal. Because I was told that the audio was gone. But yeah, man, it's so many different layers to this whole thing, man. And unfortunately, in 2022, in about a month and a half or whatever it is, it's gonna be 2023, and we still having to deal
Yeah,
with I hear you on Twitch. I don't know about others. Okay, it might be something going on a Facebook. Okay, but it's amazing how in 2022, like I say again, soon to be 2023, we still have to deal with this situation called race. It seemed like we would have gotten past it, love each other for who they are. Now, if somebody treats you bad, I don't care whether they're black, white, orange, polka dot, or lily. They treat you wrong. If
that's
they
right.
if they treat you wrong, then you got a reason to kind of look at that person crooked eye, crooked eye. But
Mhm.
but if they don't, if we all come into a room together, and if we all of different nationalities, races, color, whatever you want to call it, however you want to categorize it, and we treat each other in harmony, man, let's just get along. Will that ever happen?
It can, but then that will put the devil out of business.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
See,
Yes, Lord.
some, some
Yes,
of these
Lord.
things that we discuss, we don't understand that it's the aerodynamics of life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how you gonna see how God works if you don't have um, challenges and issues and
Mm-hmm.
disparities?
Mm-hmm.
How can He do miracles without some of the things that we call bad? And keep in mind, the God that we serve, it's still an allowance in these fleshly bodies that we go through.
Mm-hmm.
So we would be solving God's job
Yeah.
if all we all, Rodney King said that. Can we all just get along? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but where that's heaven.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's heaven.
Mm-hmm.
The Bible talks about that. You know, I talk about this all the time, Raheem. I've had some rough things go on with me in my life.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
However, overcoming things. Listen, We're going to use Harriet Tubman as an example. Can you imagine the things that she went through out of chaos? But by the
Yes.
time that lady died, can you imagine
Mm-hmm.
the wonders that she felt when she passed away? Because of the simple fact that even though she couldn't save all black people, but
Mm-hmm.
just the ones that she sold or that she saved was enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's kind of the same way when it comes to life. You know what I mean? It's not
Mm-hmm.
about all getting along. It's about what you're going to do. Because some of us are appointed by God. Some of us are appointed by the devil.
Come on. Come on. Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is not a perfect world.
Mm-hmm.
So it is what it is. You know what? I'm cool with being a strong black woman. As a matter of fact, I want to put myself on display because just because you're strong don't mean you're gay.
Come on. Come on.
You understand what
Come
I'm
on.
saying? Like
Yes.
we got some mixed up um, conceptions on what strength is, and when adversity comes, that it's always a bad thing. But when I tell you, I say this to myself all the time: I would not change not a molestation, not
Mm-hmm.
the rape, not the lies, not the cheating. There's not the jail time I did.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't even gonna go there. There is nothing in my life as challenging as somebody think. Listen, I was suicidal, depressed, and all of that. But I would never go back and change any of those things because these war wounds that you cannot see,
Come on.
it reminds me that I can endure anything. I've
Mm-hmm.
overcome some things, you're right, that people did not overcome. And then when I got it out my own head and got God in it, God delivered me
Come
from
on. Come
cigarettes.
on.
He delivered me from a lifestyle where I was enslaved by all that. See, I'm
Mm-hmm.
free now.
Mm-hmm. Come on.
That's what God do. He set you free. He set your mind free from all this foolishness you got to do out here. That's why I'm working on a PhD now at
Mm-hmm.
45. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
ain't hear me.
Come on. Say it.
That's after the war wounds. That's after the scars. That's after the devil done took me and threw me around like a little rag doll, like he a pit bull and I'm a pork chop. He done
Mm-hmm.
threw me and flung me all around. And I was like, you done? Because I'm not. And I still had to get up and keep on going because just because adversity is there does not mean we have to stop. You have to keep fighting. And whoever else I need to get on this railroad, let's go. So I think when we find things that are challenging, you know, that might be your underground railroad.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not about getting along all the time. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's your underground railroad.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to save as many people as you can on that railroad, depending on whatever situation that is. And we cannot look for a perfect world. Because if you're looking for a perfect world, then how are we going to know that you're the superhero?
Come on. Come on. And you know what? I was talking. As a matter of fact, it was Laugh Loud. Laugh Loud was on with us one day, and we got Badger with. I'm gonna go to Badger as well, but he was talking about going through trials and tribulations, and he said he was going through a real rough time in his life, and he gave an example, and I was like, wow. Say that again. You know, a lot of time somebody say something, and I say, man, you got to say that again. But this is what he said. He said as he was going through the trials and tribulations in his life, he said it was rough, and he said he took the towel, and he said he was ready to give up and give in, and he threw in the towel. He said he threw in the towel. He said, and God threw it back, said, wipe your tears. We still got some more work to do. So even when we get to a point in a place where we want to throw in the towel, sometimes we got to find a way. We got to find a way. Wipe them tears off.
That's right.
Throw that towel over our shoulders, wrap it around our neck, however you hold your towel, and keep it moving.
Hmm.
Keep it moving. Because like I always say on here, man, if you're going through hell, good. You're going through hell. That don't mean you got to stop. Don't stop. You don't want to stop. You ain't gonna have no picnic or cookout or nothing like that. Keep going. And if you keep going, eventually you're gonna get to the other side. That's when you celebrate. Not going through hell, but when you get out of hell. Make your way through. Don't stop. Five zero eight
That's
nine
right.
two 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Badger, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning. Sounds like an interesting topic.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Badger, what do you do when you're going through hell?
Hmm. Yeah, that's a matter of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, I was kicked out, so
There you go.
um, it's just one of those things, Of I think the harder part is learning to be thankful for when you go through that stuff.
And how
Thankful
do you
for
do
the,
that?
I know how I did it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people have come to learned how not to let it bother them at all.
Mm.
Um, some, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, my personal experience is I just learned that maybe why they're doing what they're doing is because they don't know any better.
Mm.
So they're just doing the best they can with what they have.
Wow.
And it's just one of those things of like, how many of us that went through what we went through that could have turned out pretty rough, to be
Mm-hmm.
fair.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, some people it takes, what, 30, 40, 50 years. Some doesn't take quite that long. Um, so that's why I was also saying it's a perspective thing.
Mm.
I
Okay.
heard like the race issue and all that stuff, and I was having a conversation last night with gamers in one of the discords I'm in, and it was quite interesting how I've had more productive, open-minded conversations in gaming communities than I have pretty much anywhere else.
Why, thank you.
Um, Even more than on here.
Mm. That's interesting. That's interesting.
Um, and it's in the experiences that I've had the privilege to hear from others has had me crying.
Mm.
Yet at the same time, it's they also, like me, learn to be thankful for it. They let go of the anger. And when you learn to be thankful for it, it's not, I don't know
Imagine what exactly
what
are you
that
saying?
means.
What exactly are you saying to be thankful for? Be thankful for what?
Well, like all this, so like I'm thankful to my mom for the experiences that I lived through with her,
Mm-hmm.
that I
But see,
lived through.
but keep in mind we talking about racism and how racism affects certain individuals, and how do you be thankful for racism? I'll come back
That,
to you.
yeah,
Let me come
that's
back
a
to you.
hard one.
Yeah, exactly. Captain, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Fine, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. We're talking about being black right now. We're talking about being black in America, and the experience. And I said me and Toya was talking, and Toya dropped some jewels this morning, brother. She was knocking them out every time I threw one. She was knocking it out the park. But I asked the question. I asked this question right here, and when I made the statement, basically, a lot of times people say that being black in America is no different from anybody else. And maybe that's one of the things that Badger was actually talking about a second ago, because, and I could understand them saying that because they've never had to walk in our skin. So if unless someone, I said to Toya, unless or until somebody have to put this skin on and walk around in this skin, they would never truly and fully understand what the experience is like. Captain, what do you say to that?
So what are you asking me, brother Raheem?
Is it really tough? Is it really how tough is it? Let me rephrase it that way. How tough is it being black in America?
Well, let me say this, because I'm really, to be truthful and honest with you, I'm really on some growth and development tips. Right, I'm trying to move past the color spectrum.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I don't recognize that we most of the time are victims because of color,
Mm-hmm.
but we have to develop the conversation in our own minds where we don't keep becoming victims about color. I think we have to move beyond it. I have to think that suffering is not limited to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Injustice is not limited to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
Abuse is not limited just to Black people.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we may have the larger piece of that pie, we cannot ignore that we're not the only ones.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, nobody can understand. In the old Native American proverb, you can never understand a man's journey until you walk in his moccasins.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, there's no question. I would never understand Brother Badger's pain. I would never understand Rico's pain. We all, if we just take it on a human basis. So humanity as a whole is suffering. It's suffering. And nobody can sit there and tell me, man, listen, my abuse is greater than your abuse. Tell the Jews that. Tell those Jews that suffer under the Holocaust that their abuse was greater than our abuse. Yes, abuse is abuse. So we got to move past that and recognize humanity is sick. The world is sick.
Mm-hmm.
And who's going to change it? It takes people who have been the victims of abuse to change the narrative of this kind of conversation.
Mm-hmm.
No, man. I'm tired of seeing all of us getting abused. It's hard, yes, to walk in the Black person's shoes in a racist society. But have you ever went to London, England? You don't have the problem as a Black person when you go to London, England. There's no victim of being racist over there. Go to London. Go to the UK. And see, do you become a victim because of your color in the UK? I'm sorry, I was over in the UK for a year. Go to Africa. Go to Africa, Brother Raheem.
Mm-hmm.
And see if in your own land are you victims of abuse? Are you treated with abuse when you go into a predominantly Black country? No.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, we're going to have a large segment of abuse because that don't give white folks a pass that they didn't have a hand in it. But I'm not going to keep letting them make me a victim.
Mm-hmm.
I'm moving beyond. You're not going to take away from me my humanity. I'm a human being. I'm learning to talk like a human being now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm able to see everybody's abuse now. I'm growing. I can't keep going back to these subjects, man.
Mm-hmm.
We have to grow and change the world. Black folks, white folks, poor white folks. Let's change this damn narrative. That's what I got to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through the corners.
go on over there to the corner. You know, we got a chair over there for you. We got, as a matter of fact, we got some juice over there for you too, just in case you're thirsty. Cassandra, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Good morning.
Cassandra, what do you say to that? Is it difficult? Is it tough being Black in America? Because some would say that, you know, you and like Captain was saying, you don't have it no tougher than anybody else. You know, we all here in the same melting pot together. We all got the same opportunity. We all got the same ability, the same skill level or whatever. So why is it so much harder for you than it is for anybody else? It's not. What do you say to that person?
Well, unless something changed while I was sleeping last night. I mean, something might have changed overnight. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
People of color are still treated differently. We are not treated fairly and are equally. We do not have the same opportunities because people don't allow us to have the same opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
We can think we have the same opportunities as everybody else. But when people look at you in corporate America, sometimes they do not see your credentials. They don't see anything except Black skin, brown skin.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they see. So we can imagine a world, imagine all the people, living.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that is a great song that the Beatles did. But the fact of the matter is that we are not there yet. I would love for it to be that way. And for me, I'm like Kat. I treat everybody. I know that people have their struggles because I deal with all kinds of people, all
Mm-hmm.
races, almost on a daily basis.
Yes.
And they go through the same types of things, but we still, as Black people, have a different way that we are treated in this country. We
Mm-hmm.
can't change that right now. Only the people who are doing it to us can change that.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. That's good. That's good. Rico, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Now I can't complain, man. I'm just glad to see another beautiful day. How y'all doing?
Hey, doing good, doing good. Good to have you, brother. Asking the question, Rico, what do you say to that, brother? If they were to say to you that being y'all black folks are always playing the black card, talking about being black in America is so tough. It ain't no tougher for you than it is for anybody else. We all in America together. We all got opportunities. We all could do this. Y'all get opportunities too. You just don't take advantage of them. What do you say to that, Rico? Is it really tough being black in America, or we just
I
faking the
tell
folk?
them, I tell them to call my friend Paul and ask him about this plan that was made with the war on drugs and how they said they could intentionally manipulate that war on drugs to target black people.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna tell them about black codes and peonage and Jim Crow. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
talk about those type of things and the right to vote, just having to protest and fight for your basic God-given rights, and then being terrorized and not getting justice for it, and then having to go somewhere to their court
Mm-hmm.
and try to get justice for a human life that they felt like didn't deserve to even live. You know what they say? Ain't no better. The only good nigga is a dead nigga.
Well, mm-hmm.
That's what they say.
Yeah,
That's what they say.
yeah, yeah.
You
Wow.
know, I refer them to some of them posts and to some of them news articles and to some of those groups and to some of the statements made by people in power about how they feel about black people
Mm-hmm.
when they say that. And then ask them what kind of fair shape do you think you can get from a person that feels like that and you don't know it and you go before them for a job or even to get CPR.
Mm.
I saw 3 rescue people let a man die because they didn't want to put their lips on him.
Wow.
And they looked around with all the, they the best actors and tricksters. They know how to play. They know how to act and they ain't never been to school for it. I mean, just think about the whole history over here lying. They acting like it's real.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they also think they're the dominant race, Aryan species, superior race. Man, genetics and science prove that wrong. But see, they still act like that. And for some reason, they believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's some good actors when you can really believe in your own delusion and then carry it out and make that reality when really and truly that's not reality. You're not dominant.
Mm-hmm.
But they can act. They can do that. And so, it comes down to the fact that you would have to go back and show them all the ways that the advantages have worked against us and the oppression has worked against us. How all these different factors and conditions were created intentionally to make sure we couldn't get ahead, and then point to today and how it evolved. Like right now, we just saw a man go from being quote unquote the richest black man in the world to less than $1 billion because his daddy told him, "You fired."
Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Phone lines are open. You're listening to The Morning Glow. We're here every day, Monday through Friday from 7 o'clock until 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, the phone number 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to hear your input. Badger, what's on your heart?
Man. So, kind of to pick up on from what Cap was saying, or at least in my perspective, there is a way to be thankful for it,
Mm-hmm.
and
For
it's
race?
learning to,
You mean for racism?
yeah,
Okay. Explain it to me.
be thankful for them teaching you how not to be,
Mm.
learning to look at things in a positive light,
Mm.
and it's hard. Um, it's kind of like, and also, like Cap was saying, everyone has their experiences,
Mm-hmm.
their traumas, their abuse, and I've heard so many different versions or experience. I won't say experiences that have been shared with me from those that have had really bad experiences or have had family members go through extremely bad situations or even killed, to folks that have become very successful,
Mm.
even with all of the negativity that's thrown at them.
Well,
Um,
well, see, the thing about it, a lot of times a person just got to fight through. And sometimes you just got to fight through the situation that you or the hand that you dealt. You got to fight through it. And so, yeah, there are some people that has been very successful in this thing. But my thing is this right here: when you talk about racism, um, that's something that's very hard to just automatically just ignore. Um, it weighs on you. It
I
weighs.
can I can relate to that,
Mm-hmm.
um, but not from the aspect of race, but from
Mm-hmm.
the aspect of being mentally different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't change. I can only do so much with what I was born with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have my restrictions and my limitations, and as long as um, learn coping skills, I can moderately be in social situations and moderately work. Yet,
Mm.
due to my struggles, I'll never get a management position.
Okay. Okay. Let me go
I'll be
to
walked over.
wow. Wow. Toya, what did talk to me, sis? What's on your heart?
Yeah, life is challenging, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is why we have to. Let me tell you something. Y'all ain't got to do nothing. That's why I'm glad my God woke me up and told me I get to defeat all odds through Him.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, we get to playing with these folks talking about what you is and what you ain't and what you can do and what you can't do and things of that nature. See, this is where God kind of He gives you the ability to be more when we're talking about race, or even if it's a mental capacity. So when I was younger, right, I had a learning disability too. I had phonics and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Did all of that. You know what I'm saying? But my father was real adamant about explaining to me there's nothing you cannot do unless you tell yourself you can't. So again, there was a lot of mental things that went on with my dad, who wasn't perfect. He was an alcoholic, single man, a lot of things he couldn't do. But when it came to feeding me the meat and potatoes on who I am and who I could be, that helped me override all this
Mm-hmm.
racism stuff that we going through. I mean, we just have to think about it. The plight of black people means you couldn't do things, and people still were willing to get up and do whatever they could do to fight for the right to do it and
Mm-hmm.
died for it. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't fall into, what they could not do. Thus is where we are today because people fought past something they said they couldn't be, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this is why we need a God in our lives. Whatever God you choose, if your God is telling you, oh, you can't be this, you can't be that, or them said, you could be a white person. I know white people going into black areas and felt like how we feel when we deal with them when we go into white areas.
Mm-hmm.
They looking at you strange, what you doing here. You might feel threatened. Oh, they gonna rob me. Yeah, like white folks didn't rob people back then. You rob, beat, break, stole, chopped off body parts, drowned babies, and now when you walk in the Brooklyn streets, when you talking about you holding your purse,
Mm.
boy, if you don't get up out of here, you know what I
Wow.
mean? So in different aspects of life and in different, individual um, um, people's individual situations, we experience those things that you can't call it racism because it's not color, but you experience not being wanted, not
Mm-hmm.
being accepted.
Mm-hmm.
People putting you in a box saying what you can and cannot do because whether you are special education, whether you're mental, whether you're a girl, whether you're a guy, whether whatever, There's always boxes people can always put you in and tell you what you can, what you can't do, what you ain't gonna do.
Yeah.
But again, in order to write that narrative, it is up to you. And if it's not up to you, it's up to somebody somewhere down your bloodline. It ain't got to be your bloodline. It could be somebody else's. But the fact of the matter is, until somebody break free of what the hell somebody, excuse me,
Hey.
what
Mm,
somebody else
mhm.
said they couldn't be or couldn't do. Because I'm like, listen, I'm like the old school. I'm dying for mine. You're not finna tell. I walk with a swag where people know to get out of my way because I will mow you down like some grass, telling me
Mhm.
what I can't do and achieve. And I
Exactly.
think that's the mindset we need to get to. Let's get away from racism. Let's get away from, oh boy, girls, they can't do this, this, that. No, let's just be real with who we are,
Hey, Toya,
real
let me
with
ask you a
our
question.
capabilities and what we can do, and take it to the next level
Hey,
because your
Toya.
destiny is not in the hands of another person.
Toya, let me ask you a question. What do you say to the individual out there that's listening to the broadcast right now, either we're live right now or in the future? And they say that, we're talking about getting over it and not dealing with it. It's a lot easier said than done. The racism thing
Hmm.
is what I'm talking about. What do you say to the individual that
Hmm.
says it's much more, it's much easier said than done to get over this racism, because racism is a thing that is a thing of power as well. And they try to have certain
Hmm.
power
Hmm.
over you to try to eliminate you from doing certain things. So how do you get past that?
Hmm. Yeah. Well, you got to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, you got to make waves. You can't be scared to shut things down.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, I think us as black people, right? When they close the door, make your own damn door.
Hey.
What you
Mm-hmm.
sitting up there still trying to? Sorry, my bad.
Mm-hmm.
What you still trying to knock on their door for when they don't want to let you in? Go build your own. And I think that's what it's time for.
Mm-hmm.
Again, now I'm not limiting this to just black people, right? Because when I get ready to build my boat, my ark, right, it's just not for black people. It's whoever wants to be free,
Mm-hmm.
whoever wants to be, you know what I'm saying? Whoever feels like we're on the same level, we're equal, and we just got different talents and strengths and how we can get together to build our own arc. Because operating, under America's pretenses,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to be some challenges, but you still have to keep going.
Exactly. Exactly. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We love to have your input. Not able to actually pull anybody into the other feed right now, but you can certainly give us a call. 508-924-3521. One more time. 508-924-3521. Give us a call. We'd definitely love to have your input. Let me go to Captain. Captain, what's on your heart?
Well, I had a couple things came to my mind. I want to share this. Um, if you ever seen an ant um, colony or ant hill,
Mm-hmm.
and if you ever disturb it, if you ever disturb an ant hill, kick it in there, the ants don't come out with a sign saying ants matter. They don't come out protest what you did. You know what they do? They get busy and build it back up again.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the smallest of an ant. They don't waste a whole lot of time. Look what you did to us. Well, they just build all over again.
Mm-hmm.
We spend a lot of time talking about what we can't do and what they doing to us. I like what Sister T said. And just man, if you don't like my boat, build your boat.
Mm-hmm.
We got to understand we have to address the lie. Why is there racism? Why is black people, particularly in America, targeted with that kind of rush, painted with that kind? Why? We don't want to talk about the lie that was told. Somebody told a lie,
Mm-hmm.
and that lie has been in the mind of many people on how they treat us. And if you keep telling a lie long enough, then we begin to believe the lie. We're an inferior people. They found us with bones on our nose. We begin to believe we can't do nothing. We believe there's a lie. How can you sit there and say, my God? If you go to China, Chinese got a God that look like Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
Go to Japan, Japan got a God that look like Japanese. Everybody got a God that look like them. We the only people, dark people in America, that got a God that look like white folks.
Mm.
We the only one that got a God that look like our oppressor.
Mm-hmm.
That don't make sense. That don't make sense.
Yeah.
Oh, now we changed it. Over the last 25 years, we took the white Jesus off the wall. Yeah. But look how long he been on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Look how long you had Jesus, the white Jesus. You had John F. Kennedy. You had how long were they on our wall? And some of them hadn't took him off the wall in their mind. Because in their mind, they still believe white folks God.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we want to talk about my God. Somebody can challenge us. What your God look like? Well, my God, he don't look like what? Because that's very important. Because the scriptures say he created God in his image and after his likeness. Well, what is his likeness? What is his image then? An image is not formless.
Mm-hmm.
Image is not formless.
Yeah.
So if we want to get to the root, why? Because somebody told a lie. Let's chase the lie. And the lie come out the scripture. The Jewish people, man, here they've been a victim of a worse treatment. And they was a victim of being exploited. But then they are being charged with the same thing that they charged the Germans with. So you come in the black community and you exploit our black talent. You exploit our black talent. You should know better. If they've exploited you, why would you exploit us? Black people, if we've been victims of racism, then why would we ever become racist? It seems that God, we take him out the equation, but the Bible said the first shall be last, and the last shall be first, and the top rail will become the bottom rail, and the bottom rail become the first. Have God chose us? That's the argument. God chose us, and ain't nobody can do nothing about it. We are the chosen people of God. Why did God send us through this? So that I can make a people that have been so engrossed with injustice that when I put them in a position of power, they won't rule like that. They would change the world. That's why I did this to y'all. But if y'all don't get it, you keep crying victims. Change the world, black people. Don't make the world like how they treated you. I'm putting you in a position of power. And people are afraid to see us rise in power because they're serious. What we do to them, what they did to us, it's not in our nature. We won't do it. That's why they work hard to keep us out of power. Man, we let them get in power. Man, they're going to turn the tides and put us in chains. That's crazy. You make a movie, man, I forgot about the apes, Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
That was to make all white people scared to see what would happen when the apes take over. How they got abused. Come on, man. We got to change the world. God chosen us. Ain't nothing y'all can do about it. You want to talk God, go to your scripture. We the people that each other. Now, if we the one that sold our soul for a mess of porch. We sold our birthright. That's us. We keep trying to lift everybody else and don't even see ourselves. God chose us. Now, what did he chose us? So that we could change the world.
Yes.
I'm through with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. The phone lines are open. Give us a call. We'd love to have your input. We're talking about Black in America right now. We're going to change the topic in just a few minutes and go to something different. But right now, I want to go to Joseph. Joseph, good morning. How you doing this morning?
Oh, good morning. All right. Got some bacon and eggs. No, I shouldn't say bacon and eggs, but got some cooking going on in the kitchen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's on your heart? You been listening to us this morning?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounding good, man.
What's on your heart?
I agree with Cap though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with Cap. I ain't got a lot to add to that. He's right on point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, through our labor, this system was built. And those who managed to start out at the top in this country worked hard and continue to work hard to make sure that we don't rise, to that equal. But these people who claim they love God and claim to be a Christian nation and all of this, they really hate the God that they proclaim. They hate the righteousness he stands for. And I agree with Cap. You know, when we do come to that place, and God himself is going to do it, so ain't nobody going to stop it. But when we do, we can't turn around and be the same thing that we've been fighting against. You know, I mean, we otherwise we'll turn around and curse ourselves.
So basically, what you're saying is, we cannot become the very thing that we hate.
We can't become it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not right. I mean, all those years of oppression, all those strategies, layers of structural racism that we continue to try to peel back, and that's all we're doing is dealing with the symptoms of the system,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a mindset, the people that continue to try to fortify their position, and that's
Mm-hmm.
all they can do is try to fortify it because we're coming, we're rising. One brother in South Africa said something about the higher you build your walls, the harder we will climb.
Wow.
Because you're talking about our humanity, who we
Mm-hmm.
are originally from the beginning, not the myths and the lies that have been constructed to bamboozle and confuse and distract us. We are who we are, made in the image of God.
Mm-hmm.
How you gonna stop that?
Mm-hmm.
Can't stop that, and unless we just lay down and don't be who we are. But we're not going to do that either. So those who continue to try to craft new ideas, new policies, and new systems of oppression can forget it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. You can
Yeah.
keep building the wall. It's not going to work. You're
Exactly.
going to tunnel under it, or climb over it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to work. So, but I agree with Cap though.
Exactly. Again, I'm giving the number 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. And I want to let everybody know that if you're having issues on Facebook or any other social media, you can actually go to dkmmediagroup.com. Go to dkmmediagroup.com, go to media, select television, and channel 730. This right here is actually being broadcast right there. You won't have any glitches. They can't cut it off. They can't cut certain words and whatever it is. They can't. That's our platform. That's our platform right there. So if you're having an issue on one of the other platforms, go to dkmmediagroup.com, DKM Dirty Knees Ministry, dkmmediagroup.com. Go to media, select television, and the channel that we're on right now is 730. It's at the top of the list. You can't miss it. And you can actually watch the broadcast right there on channel 730 live. Everything that's going on right now is going on over there. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, I definitely know that the attempt is there to set us back, and that's
Mhm.
been I mean, because we I know this is going to sound crazy, but we really haven't come as far as I think we've come in this country. But now there is a all out effort to take us backwards. And if we can't see that as a people, then we're fooling ourselves. But like, Cap, and I believe that's Joseph said,
Yes.
it's up to us to push forward, because if you know who you are, then they're not going to be able to do that again. And whatever it takes, I'm in Malcolm X mode, by any means necessary. We're not taking steps backwards. We're just not going to do that.
Yeah.
So what will it take for us to push forward through what we're going through right now with the suppression and the oppression trying to come back in? I don't know what it's going to take, but we ain't going back. I know that much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Badger, talk to me, brother.
Man, it's just one of those conversations that I've been having a lot of lately. There's so much depth to this conversation, and a lot of people I've talked to, not on the Morning Glow, but outside of don't really get it. They don't know a lot about how mentals are affected and stuff. The only thing they're aware of is classism and things of that nature, and how they view the government's controlling them. So it makes it really hard for them to see things that are more devious.
Mm.
Because like bringing up like systematic racism and stuff, and I've been spending a lot of time, sharing with.
Imagine, let me ask you a question. Let me throw a question at you real quick. Now, you say you talk to a lot of different people. Now, when you talk to our Caucasian brothers and sisters and you talk to them about racism or even how black people are treated in America, do they get it? Do they understand, or they do they try to evade it and act as
Some,
if it doesn't exist?
some,
Somewhat. Which some are you talking about? They try to.
some, some have a hard time with it.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them, do that whole black on black crime, rebuttal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, or they'll bring up how there's more black on white crimes than white on black crimes and all this stuff. And
So they divert. They don't want to deal with the topic. They divert to something else.
well, I wouldn't say
They
they
deflect.
dive.
Deflect, yeah.
I guess it can be viewed as deflect. Um, some of them, a lot of the ones that are like that are like, well, I've never had slaves.
Mm.
Like,
Wow.
we're in America, we're all struggling with this corporate America right now. So, however, I've also noticed that a lot of them haven't seen the things I have. I
Mm-hmm.
actually asked one person, I'm like, I'll, I was essentially making a bet with the dude.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, do you think that, well, talking to him, and I was like, do you think if you painted yourself black, how different you would be treated like in the area I live in?
Mm-hmm.
Because to him, he's not really aware of blacks being treated very different where he's at.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, he predominantly messes with the middle class. So I don't think he's had near the exposure. Um, and that's when I've also learned that not only does it depend on where you live, of how severe it gets as far as the systematic racism goes.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
But
Wow.
also the effects that systematic racism has inadvertently caused. However, I have learned from activists I have spoken to that it's going to take a huge movement in these different communities, including the one I'm in, to change this mentality that's here,
Mm.
to undo the effects of what happened. In my area, I'd almost have to say a lot of the old white folks would probably have to pass away because they really don't want to change for whatever reason it may be. Um, but a lot of us that are in the younger range, we're like, we're done with this.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
We're all struggling. We need to focus on the same enemy to help all of us. It don't matter if it's a Democrat, Republican, or whatever. If it's a racist, don't let them have a job. And don't let them have a position of where they can dictate who gets hired or fired
Okay.
unless
Okay.
they learn to not personalize it. Like,
Mm.
so
Gotta keep
here's
moving,
the
Pat.
issue I have with the racism thing.
Mm-hmm.
There are those that it is their honest to God belief.
Mm-hmm.
Then there are those that are in that confused mindset and that has the abused mindset of that's all they've known since they were a child.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And then there are
Stay with
those
it.
like man,
Wrap it up for me, Pat. Wrap it up. We gotta keep it moving, brother. Wrap it up for me.
I don't know how to wrap it up shorter, so I'll
Mm-hmm.
try to figure it out.
Okay. Toya with a T, what are you hearing? Toya?
Well, it's a different perspective,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, because we are in two different types of skins, they're always going to have a different perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, we have to think about some people whom we associate with They don't research. They just calling out stuff they think.
Mm-hmm.
They calling out stuff they auntie said, their daddy said, their grandma said. They're not looking at real statistics.
Mm-hmm.
They're not looking at real figures. Are we dealing with people who are staying in that same little trailer park or project that's not going out nowhere,
Mm-hmm.
that don't have um, sixth grade um, reading levels? Or are we
Mm-hmm.
dealing with some professionals who actually, this is what they do? They take time to sit and look at and research. And oftentimes, on both sides of the coin, that's not what we do. We blurt stuff out that we heard from somebody else. They always telling us something, but we can never find the truth in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes, when we have these conversations with other people, especially other people from other races, that's what they heard. They're not even the factual statistics that are in writing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you sit back and think of. This is what we were saying about earlier. We sit back and cultivate and think about things to try to make it be right. That fake it till you make it. But that's not the case. That's why you need to come through knocking walls down. You need to come through knocking walls down. Okay, well, you know what? I can't do this, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna not do it because you can't say. I'm gonna make it happen anyway because sometimes you just gotta show the world that what you think of me is not what it is. You know what I mean? We scare ourselves out of a lot of situations, and I think sometimes as black people we do that because white folks ain't gonna let you do this, that, and the third.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I ain't gonna be able to get away. You know what I'm saying? So oftentimes we scare ourselves into not being great, but then on the other side, the people who are talking about you, it's not even real information. That's what Trump called it, fake news.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of this stuff, when we start discussing in other races, is fake news. Oh, blacks get more funding. Oh, they get welfare. Oh, they get this. Man, come on, man. Lies.
Mm-hmm.
Lies and things that people try to tell you to manipulate your mind and cause more chaos and destruction. So, again, hey, Toya with the T got the T on being real, okay? And I'm not with all that. What you think, what you thought, what you heard from your grandma. Come holler at me and let me show you what kind of black person I am.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So that way you can say you know someone different. Because when it comes to talking about differences and different perspectives from different people, sometimes we just talking just to be talking,
Yep.
just to have something to say with really no, you know what I'm saying, no valid point, no validity, and half of the information is skewed and untrue.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, 508-924-3521, 508-924-3521. Give us a call. Love to have your input. Rico, talk to me, brother.
I was thinking about how you were saying earlier that some people might say that, well, it ain't that bad. I don't see where y'all had it that bad. And I was thinking about how important it is for people to acknowledge what really happened historically. And the reason why somebody could feel like we didn't have it that bad is not because they're insensitive, but some of them just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
See, that was an intention, a concerted effort to make everybody, and to this day, still make everybody acknowledge what happened to Jews in the Holocaust. And to this day, it's still not even recognized that was some black people in it too.
Mm-hmm.
We don't hear about King Leopold and his 10 million black people in the Congo because there's not a concerted effort. Guess what? We move on to the next so much. So you have to ask yourself, why? Why is it that we as black people don't know how to make our efforts and make what happened in our history really stand firm like everybody else? Why is it that we can't get what the Japanese did and that when in the internment camps, the prisoners of war, they got paid? Why is it that we can't get recognized and acknowledged and honored? And why is it that people have to get posthumously honored?
Mm-hmm.
Tuskegee Airmen. Why did they just have to, after people died, then you have to acknowledge what they went through as black people?
Mm-hmm.
But then you have to also ask yourself, why don't they know if they don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Hanks said it. Why didn't I know about Black Wall Street?
Exactly.
See, Toya said something a second ago. We were saying a minute, man, We keep on harping on what we did and what happened and this and that, but you have to work through that. But guess what Black Wall Street showed you? We'll come knock it down.
Mm-hmm.
They worked through it. And the people in Wilmington, North Carolina, they worked through it too.
Yes, they did.
And guess what happened? So once again, they got us caught up in this illusion of trying to achieve the American dream.
Mm-hmm.
But you said something key a second ago. What is it that we don't want to turn out like? We don't want to happen to turn out and do the same thing that our oppressors did. How you say that? Say that for me one time.
Don't become the very thing that you hate.
You know what though?
Mm-hmm.
For us to achieve the American dream and be successful, we're gonna have to do the things that the very people we hate did.
Mm.
Because if you don't, you ain't gonna get it. Because that's what they did. The people we hate, you see what they did to get where they are.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can't be like them, but we want to be like them.
Mm-hmm.
We want what they got to offer. We want the best of the best. We want to be successful in this system that was created based off of them being who they are, what they did. But we can't be like them. So how we gonna succeed in this system that was created based off of those actions of not doing what they did?
Mm.
So now I go back and I think and I say, well, you know, history says that 9/11 was the first act of terrorism on domestic soil. They refused to recognize and acknowledge Black Wall Street still. And guess what we do? We just move on to the next, because if they ever put it on a test and you put Black Wall Street, you're going to be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You better put 9/11.
Mm-hmm.
If they ask you who discovered America, you might, if you say the Native Americans, you're going to be wrong if you tell the truth. So you're going to have to become and adapt to and think like the people that you hate to succeed in their system, or you're going to have to realize that this system is warped, worthless, tainted, and riddled with wicked trigonometry.
What would happen? What would happen? And Rick, I want to ask you this question. I'm gonna go to Joseph. What would happen if it was said that we need to get away from their system and create our own system?
We can do it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just have to understand. It really comes down to structure, organization, and understanding really and truly when you got something. I mean, you know, we talk about this hip hop culture thing, man, and we let it slip right between our fingers,
Mm-hmm.
and it took over the world like a new religion.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't know what we had. It was just entertainment and fun to us. So I think when we get away from trying to do so many things that make us feel good and being entertained and having fun and start paying attention to what's real, like the rest of these groups that are not caught up in the entertainment, but they actually trying to play the game. When we finally get away from just trying to feel good, we stop celebrating integration and thinking that we done made it and actually looking at the real picture.
Mm-hmm.
Then we can start addressing why they don't know and why they think the way they think. Why don't they know about Black Wall Street? We can address that and stick to it and not just let it go out the well. That's just the way it is, because guess what? They still don't know about it, and it still ain't in the books.
Mm-hmm.
And how much we gonna do to make sure that we are recognizing that knowledge for what we went through, just like the Jewish population, so-called Jews.
Absolutely. Joseph, what do you say about that, man? Because a lot of times they say that we have to conquer their system. We have to conquer their system. But if we're continuously staying in their system, we're not operating in our own system. So why can't we, Joseph, come up with our own system and master our own system instead and just totally get out of their quote unquote system?
Well, man, I tell you one thing, Rico will make you think, boy. I like the way he phrased that and presented that. You know, every time we have these elections, people talk about the military budget and who's big on the military and who want to maintain the military and keep it very effective. Because what they're saying is, we're going to protect this system that we have, and we're going to make sure we have the weaponry to put down any aggressor or anyone who tries to change the system. And that's really what it is. In fact, some of these people who voting for the Trump people or the MAGA participants that want to be elected feel the same way. You know, they feel that the system is being threatened, and it should be, and it is. And so, yeah, to start our own system means that we got to be ready to fight for it. If that's the route we want to take. If we were going to take the same route that the oppressor
does that include fight, live, or die for it?
Yeah. Now resistance is fighting. I had a conversation with Mr. Charleston White over the weekend at the UGA campus in Griffin Saturday about that. He was saying that black folks were coward. We never did anything. We just sit down and we just accept it. He obviously he didn't study his history, but he had a lot of good points. I don't want to sound like I'm really putting my brother down, because I respect anybody that's standing up trying to do something. But I disagree with my brother that black folks never resisted. We never tried to come out of our oppression, even during slavery, because that's a lie. There were several rebellions. There were some people fought on the seas. And when they brought some of the Haitians over here in the Louisiana, many of them plotted along with the slaves that was in America, to overthrow that system. But yeah, it is a fight, and we have to fight. We have to resist it. It can't withstand millions of people resisting it. It can't. You don't even need weapons to do it, because if you resist it, it just can't stand. Like in India, when Gandhi led his people to throw the British out of their country, he just told them, "Look, we're gonna have a day of fasting and prayer. We're not moving the train. We're not moving anything. We're not buying their clothes. We're not gonna cooperate with oppression." And guess what? The British had to walk out. Because if you don't participate in your oppression, then the system is weak. It gets weak. And when you actively resist it, whatever form you take, you actively resist it, it'll fold. Now, what we're going to replace it with, though? Now, you said, can we start our own system? Well, we're going to have to build a strong military if we do.
Yes, sir.
To maintain it.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Just have to do that.
Good deal.
Thanks, Rico.
508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. The system. What do we have to do? If we're continuously fighting in their system, why can't we just start our own system, if you will, and master that system? And like it was just said, we have to have a very powerful military in order to make sure that it stands, because we're gonna run into all kind of oppositions when trying to go away from the system that they love so much. Ibrahim, good morning, sir. How you doing this morning?
Assalamu alaikum. I'm doing well.
Good deal.
What was the question about? Because y'all singing my song, and, but I hear a lot of misinterpretations, and a lot of people that are just freshly thinking about it and hadn't thought it out. But go ahead.
Well, we're talking about the system and the system that's here in place right now. Why can't we come together as a people and get out of their system and start our own system?
Well, that question was asked a couple hundred years ago, and I go on and on. And one of my sites is Nubian Nation and Nubian News. The truth of the matter is, our ancestors wanted to do that and continue to do that. There were thousands of doing slavery. There were thousands and thousands of people fighting against slavery. And then doing slavery, according to W. Du Bois, he said that we freed ourselves by what? Stop working. Do we need a strong military to defend ourselves?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that's not going to change anything, or is that going to establish a nation, right? Unity comes through work and effort, and when people see the same need, they will do likewise, and eventually you'll have some form of unity. But you don't have unity for unity's sake. Coming together for unity is ludicrous. So said Kwame Nkrumah and Frantz Fanon. There's no such thing as unity's sake, right? But there's unity through effort. Now, my thing was that, as our ancestors said over 100 years ago, and the Black Communist Society, including a leader of the Communist Party in Russia at that time, Stalin, designated that the Southeast, the 5 states, was a black state, and was a black nation within a nation. You know, and this was over 100 years ago. So the Marcus Garvey understood that, but our people said put him doing something else. You know, but and also the Honorable Elijah Muhammad fought that cause for several years until other forces started taking over the Nation of Islam. You know, about a state within a state. Can it be done? Yes, because you know we are or was the majority in each state, and our greatest numbers in each state. We do the work. We should do the fields. There weren't no Mexicans doing fields when I was coming up. It was black folk all the way up to Canada, east of the Mississippi. Texas, the history of Texas, there were black people roaming free through Texas, you know, during early 1800s. You know, a simple information of fact was that you would say that you would look at Guillermo, the second president of Mexico, who was black, right? Who freed the slaves in 1828. Those that were already enslaved, that's about the war of America against Mexico that took Texas to California, where they say no black people existed. You know what I mean? And again, the other gentleman mentioned the Haitians who helped black Americans fight the America. Yeah, St. Augustine, Florida. They built forts. There was a Haitian general that commanded a black fort that defended us and the black people of Florida, which was the owner of that state, against the new American Democratic government. You know, the Republic. You can check that out. You know, you don't have to believe anything I say. If I say it, you can find it. You know what I mean? If you want to, or you want to be intelligent, right? So yeah, we are in a position to start a nation within a nation. Mm-hmm. The Constitution allows for it. Now, how do you protect that once it's established, right? The will of the people.
Good deal. Good deal. Good deal. Yeah. Let's keep this thing going, Cap. What's on your heart, Cap?
Well, I like everybody's bringing some very valid points. I wanted to go back to what my brother Rico said, which was very, he said some very great things in terms of giving us a perspective of how this big picture, it's a big picture, the picture, I mean, the onion, you know, the onion has many layers. Mm-hmm. We just peeling back layers of onions. You know, we haven't even got to the root of it.
Yes.
But he mentioned the American dream, and I wanted to say to my brother Rico, let's scrap the American dream. We try to live up to a dream that's not a reality. It's a dream. Matter of fact, it's not a dream, it's a nightmare. And
Amen.
So we're constantly trying to live up to their nightmare. It's our nightmare. So let's scrap the American dream. We're not trying to live up to nothing that has to do with America. Okay, cool. Remember now, you want to talk about a military, and I want to say this to my brother. The greatest power that the Caucasian people used was not the military in Africa. They first sent in their missionaries. Remember that. Y'all all agree to me.
Yes. Yeah.
They sent first the missionaries. Did they not send the missionaries first?
They did.
After the missionaries, which was the spiritual piece. If you can get a people hooked on God, as Sal Mayton say, he says, religion become the opiate of the people, become the drug. They came in first with religion. Then after the religion, then come the mercenaries. Then, of course, here comes the military. It was never the military than the missionaries. So if we look at their playbook, we say, wow. So they came in with a strong change in the people's spiritual belief. Mm-hmm. If you could change the people's spiritual belief and make them and introduce them to your God and take away their God, that's the first conquest. Mm-hmm. Then after that, the mercenaries are easy. Now you come and you enslave them with an army. Okay. The most important part is Brother Rico said they don't know. There's a part that we say as listeners. How can they know unless they be taught?
Yes.
And how can they be taught unless they have a teacher?
Mm-hmm.
And how can they have a teacher unless one be sent?
Say that again. Take away their God and then replace their God. Say that again.
See? So now this is what we're dealing with. If we want to change the narrative, let's get then on another point. Let's talk about racism and how people treat us based upon our color. But what do you call when we have that light-skinned, dark-skinned problem? What do you call when light-skinned women are praised among us and dark-skinned women are looked down on?
The colorism.
As the light-skinned women,
Yeah.
they get more abuse than the dark-skinned women because there's a certain mindset that men expect from light-skinned women. And so
Mm-hmm.
they get more abuse than the dark-skinned women. And then what about, is that racism?
Colorism.
Is that racism?
Mhm.
How do you call it when we start treating each other? The dark skin and light skin. And then you start looking at the abuse that we get with each other because that not dark skin nigga can't tell me nothing. Give me a light skinned woman. Don't give
Mm-hmm.
me a thing. What are we doing to each other? It ain't got nothing to do with they black and white. We have now accepted the sick mindset that we judging people based upon the skin tone. We're not judging people based upon the content of their character.
Mm-hmm.
So we now have become the very victims. We have now become oppressors and exploiters of our own kind. So we see the light-skinned sister, so we abuse her.
Hey, Captain,
We see
isn't that
dark-skinned-
isn't that, Captain, a part of what they say was a part of the Lynch letter?
That's Willie Lynch. We can go through the Willie Lynch and show everything that daggone slave trader did. He's right on point. With brother saying, with even saying, we have to attack the lie.
Mm-hmm.
The lie got to be dealt with. No matter how painful it may be, somebody lied.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody lied about it. And let me tell you something. If you go into scripture, that's where it began. They began to deal with Ham. And when you deal with Ham, you begin to start looking at them two boys. And then he said, we was cursed. We was cursed. And so when you start thinking about we was cursed black, then anybody in the scripture believes we are cursed people. So if we're cursed people because we was cursed black, can abuse them.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it comes from. We got to go into the scripture and correct that. That's a lie. We were not cursed because we was black. And if we go, and if the whole spiritual world, so you sending the missionaries into Africa, look here, and these missionaries, they tell that story. And you make the people black, you curse because of Ham.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it began.
Mm-hmm.
So if we really want to correct this thing, it was put in our minds spiritually first before
Yes.
they brought the army and they captured us as slaves.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted, family. Don't get it twisted.
Absolutely.
Religion, then the damn army.
Hey.
It was
Mhm.
religion that did more damage than the army.
Mhm.
If we want to correct this, then we got to have the same spirit. We got to correct the way we're starting getting twisted. Let's go and correct that lie.
Good
It's a
deal. Good
damn
deal.
lie.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Let's keep this thing going. Let me go to Cassandra. I'm gonna Toy you with a T coming to you next. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Nothing at this time. I'll hold my
You gonna hold your
for the
peace?
next.
You
topic.
gonna hold your mule? Toy you
Yes.
with a T. What's on your heart?
Yeah, if we just pay attention to the ages of time,
Mm-hmm.
Constitution wasn't always there. The Pharaoh said what we wasn't. Caesar said what we wasn't. Even the Willie Mammoth said what we wasn't. It's up to y'all to go up under what somebody say y'all not gonna be or who you gonna be. I don't need no Constitution to tell me what I'm capable of doing. Why that Constitution came along? Because what? So it's like, we don't understand. Again, we got dominion to create these things.
Mm-hmm.
We got dominion, not just white folks, not just Asians, not just a specific group of people. And just because it's written down on a piece of paper, don't take it law.
Mm-hmm.
So I think sometimes we get trapped up in what somebody else wants us to be. Even if you can say the Constitution, hey, you can even say the Bible, because Abraham and them, they didn't have no Bible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just saying, when we have these conversations and when we talk about some of these things, sometimes we got to just get out of our own head. I
Yeah.
got a friend, and this is how powerful we are. He went to school when he was about 7, but the guy was about 50, 54, 55, something like that. Well, at any rate, he just, just wasn't right. Not a strong, confident black man.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
No consistency was working. Didn't provide a home for his family. More of a drinker and a drug addict. And even though he was good with his hands, um, there was no spirit there.
Yeah.
There was no, kahunas. No desire or real strength there.
Mm-hmm.
But at any rate, we were friends because, I love people and I'm always trying to encourage somebody to do something. And one day he told me a story about when him and his father went to school one day, and the counselor told his father that he's done. He ain't gonna never know nothing,
Mm.
and it ain't no need in letting him stay in school. And his
Wow.
father took him out of school. Now that was probably 1960 something.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that when I dealt with this man at 54, that moment when that person told that parent to take him out of school and the parent took him out of school, that broke that black man's spirit.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
And we get so wrapped up in what somebody, excuse me, I'm going to say the H word, what the hell somebody
Hey.
say we
Mm.
is, or what somebody say your child ain't. We roll with that and it destroys them. And when I look around today at most of my black broken men that walk around and break black women,
Mm-hmm.
I think about the times that we allow other people to tell us who we was and what we ain't gonna be. So when we think about this racism thing, think about some of the things we've done to ourselves. I say this to myself all the time, honey. I went and beat that boy upside his head. They had nothing to do with no white folk, but them white folk locked my black behind right on up. But again, you cannot let anyone else, no one, dictate who you're gonna be in life. Because even though I done been to jail, I done sold drugs and I done it all, I'm still a master's educated black female right now at 45 today. So I'm just throwing that out there before we get caught up into what somebody says we are. We need to know the truth about who we are,
Mm-hmm.
period. Because if not, we're going to be stuck in this whirlwind looking for answers on a morning show because we still don't have a clear and defined definition on
Mm-hmm.
who you be.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow. That's good. That's good. Rico, talk to me, brother. That's good.
Well, we're covering a lot, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what Captain Dennis did when he went there and showed how religion and benevolence, missionary work, is what the devil used. He had ulterior motives, but he came in looking peaceful with the word of Jesus.
Mm.
In the 1820s, the first white settlers landed in Hawaii. And they landed there with the intent to bring Christianity to the Aboriginals, the savages.
Mm-hmm.
But then later on down the road, they decided that the good Lord gave them the authority to use their land for profitability. So they overthrew the kingdom of Hawaii and made it a state. After coming in there with Jesus in the good book, they snuck in there with the back door with some military ships. So y'all letting this land go to waste. Y'all over here enjoying and surviving off what God gave y'all, and y'all can be making some of this good old money we created and let us control it and resources because we think we are superior.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we know we came over here to teach all the Aboriginals Jesus and Christianity and the way to heaven. But man, money over everything.
Mm.
But see, they maintained it with that military. So you might be able to get away with the religion. Now the religion might still sort of make you docile. Like that. Some people say it shouldn't, but we know at some point in time, some people do remain docile because of religion.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to take a life or hurt anybody. What would Jesus do? You know, they think about how he sat up on that cross and just said, you know what, man, just do what y'all do to me. And so, well, you know what we supposed to do what Jesus do. So it's a lot of confusion. And what should you do when you know that you are dealing with somebody like this, and then all of a sudden, once again, you say you want to succeed and you want to accomplish the American dream, but that is an illusion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whatever they sold you, it's an illusion, especially when it comes to you, black man,
Exactly.
a minority.
Yeah.
So how many people knew that story about Hawaii? You know, or we could talk about how they created Israel. I think what was that in 1947,
Yeah, I know
1948, something like that.
about Hawaii, but you got it confused, right? You got it confused.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold
I
on,
know
Ibrahim.
about Hawaii.
I wasn't finished. I wasn't finished though. And then I guess you could tell me what I was confused about. I don't know what I'm too confused about when I said. I mean, but let me finish this. Like I said, they went over there under the guise of bringing missionary work, and they took over Hawaii. And the guy that made the ultimate decision was Sanford Dole.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who his grandson is? Well, I ain't gonna say his grandson. It might be his great grandson, but guess who still has power? Dole Fruit manufacturers or the producers of Dole Fruit Company.
And
they ain't just in Hawaii no more, but they went over there and they did that. And the reason why they did it because they allowed them to make a little money, but then they told the Hawaiians, look, man, y'all still got a whole lot more land and we can make a whole lot more money. But the Hawaiians was like, no, these are our sacred lands. Our ancestors left this land for us to do this and that. They said, well, you know what? Y'all too stupid to understand big business. We need to send them ships over there because they're keeping us from making more money for the United States of America. And so they went over there and took them.
And Rico, let me say this.
They acknowledged it in the 90s.
And let me say this to your point, man, about Dole. You know, I had the opportunity, I had the blessing to live in Hawaii for 4 or 5 years, 4 years. And they have fields over there, man. If you go on some of the back roads over there, they got long fields of pineapple. Just all it is, pineapple fields, man, both sides of the road. And Dole has a company, have a big company, a big factory over there where that's what they do. Right there from Hawaii, they got them pineapple fields, man, and they have people working round the clock, either picking the pineapples, man, and they got a thing over there. If you pull over and you pull one pineapple, and they catch you pulling one pineapple out of that field, they're gonna charge you $500. Back in that day, I don't know what to charge now, but back in that day, they would charge you $500 for picking one pineapple out of that field. Ain't no pineapple worth no $500, brother. But go ahead.
Well, see, that's an awesome strategy. You know, don't get me wrong, it's evil and wicked too, but that's an awesome strategy to sneak in on people with a good purpose, but already have the ulterior motive to try to occupy and control their resources and then oppress them in the process and control them. You know, but this is something that continues to happen. And so we think that sometimes our ancestors let things happen, but we have to understand that a lot of that, it wasn't no let, there were rebellions. There were hundreds of rebellions where people tried to fight against this system to break away from it. You know, some of them were successful, like in St. Augustine. I've been down there. But then you had some that weren't successful. And to make sure that you didn't do it again, they cut the heads off of them people and put them on stakes and line them up for miles so they would see when they came to town. This is what we do to black people that think they want to get out of this system. I think they want to try to overturn it. You know, so I mean, we have to understand the cause and effect and consequences and the trauma and the subconscious programming for black people. I mean, some of what Charleston said was right. You do have some black people that have been programmed to just sit back and take it. Prime example, like I was saying earlier about the people at the rescue squad that let the man die because they didn't want to put the lips on his. That woman put on such a good act that you would really believe that she didn't know CPR, but in the 7th grade, I was 12 years old. And I knew for everybody to be on that truck, on that rescue squad, on that ambulance, that they had to know CPR. But what was the most disappointing thing about it was that my 12-year-old self spoke up. I told my granddad and the policeman, she lying. She knows CPR. All of them know CPR. And guess what they said? Be quiet. Be quiet. Hush, boy, hush. And they sat there and watched that man die too. Now they didn't know CPR, but me myself, I wanted somebody to address them for lying. We know better. Y'all trying to play me stupid, and that changed my life towards them and towards us, because it made me realize just how subdued and fearful we were to speak up when we saw wrongdoing. Along with other times, I was actually harassed and terrorized racially, and had older black people sit back and watch it and turn their head. I was baffled. I'm like, wait a minute, you gonna let this white girl call me an N-word? The woman turned her head and act like she didn't hear it. Grown woman, sister. So it happens, you know. In some cases, Charleston was right. And, you know, I hate to say it, but that guy really does just do things for controversy. You can agree with him, and he'll find a reason to disagree.
Wow. 50892. I just pulled this up right here. This is a couple of years ago. They're talking about the plans. If you would like to spend your time in Hawaii with a view of prison bars rather than the palm trees, or if you feel like shelling out a bunch of money to the police instead of buying souvenirs, all you have to do is wander into one of the thousands of acres of pineapple fields over the Hawaiian Islands and pick one. They said pick one of the spiky fruit. Just one. You're going to jail. You're gonna be inside. You're going to jail, and you're gonna be charged an X amount of money, just because you thousands of acres. This is what Dole did. This is what Rico was talking about with the Dole family. This is what they did. This is the result of what they did back in those days. Now today, they got thousands of acres of fields over there in Hawaii. Pick one if you want to. Had Tucson say, "I wish you would." But let's keep this thing going. Joseph, what's on your heart, brother?
Wow, man, a lot, bro. You know, that shows how the rich and powerful makes the laws to protect their interests and their wealth, and always against the masses. But man, several people said some wonderful things. Toya with a T said some powerful things. Individually, we can't allow people to make us think of ourselves other than what we are, who we truly are. Cap said something so powerful, man. I wish all of us in the Black community would give more reflection on this, about how the system, the European system, is set up. They first use the missionaries, then bring in the mercenaries, and then bring in the merchants. But Frantz Fanon wrote a book called The Wretched of the Earth, and somebody had mentioned it earlier. And he talked about, when he was talking about how to bring about liberation, he examined the system. He said, when the Europeans came to colonize, like Algeria, they would set up the church, the Chamber of Commerce, and the court, all there together. And then their flag would go up, like the French flag, for instance, would be raised. Now, if you in the South, if you go to any small town in the South, and I imagine this would be for the North as well. I haven't done extensive travel up north, but in the South, and I like to do this every time I go into a new town in Georgia, I try to find either the First Baptist Church or the First United Methodist Church or First Presbyterian. I try to look at the location of that church in relations to the courthouse. Okay. Because, you know, the courthouse is where all the business transactions take place, and all the fine monies are gathered. But in Jonesboro, for instance, the First Baptist Church is not very far from the old courthouse, and the First United Methodist Church right across the street from the old courthouse. And what Frantz Fanon said in his book was so eye-opening. That's how this system is set up. That's why Dr. King, when he was writing his letter from the Birmingham jail, was addressing those church leaders, the head of those churches, the Reformed churches.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, myself being a Baptist, I didn't know why I was a Baptist because, you know, maybe because my mother took us to church into a Baptist church, and most of the churches there were Baptist. But after going through ITC and studying the history, all of that became trivial to me because I look at the system and how it's set up, you know, how it's set up. And the question is, are we cooperating in this system? And if we are, to what degree? See,
Wow.
And then, as I reflected, you know, I realized that the term Baptist don't mean anything to me, and I'm a preacher, but it doesn't mean anything to me in terms of this system. You see?
Yeah. Okay.
And how it is used to oppress black folks and many other people, not just black folks, because they do it in Korea, South Korea, they do it in Hawaii. You know, wherever Europeans go, they set up the same system. Just like Cap said, we need to understand it. We need to understand religion. You know, I thought before I went to seminary, I used to question the necessity of going to higher learning because, you know, I figured I had a holy unction, you know, to preach the gospel, you know, and I believe that. But man, you got to understand the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how religion is used to oppress God's people. That's all I had.
Good deal. Good deal. 508-924-3521. 508-924-3521. Again, give us a call. We are going to switch the topic in just a second. We're going to go to something else that I wanted to talk about as well today.
Right quick. He said he went to cemetery or seminary.
Joseph?
Hey, we call it cemetery. I know you were. That's what I call a cemetery because some of it is dead.
May I finish up?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I made a statement.
Speaking to your phone, Ibrahim, you're a little bit low, brother. Speaking to your phone for me.
Oh, all right. I made a statement. Some Rico said, and I misunderstood a lot of my statements, but after getting to listen to the last gentleman, it reflects a lot that I say. That because, you know, he used the word savage, and for good reason, bringing them this guilt, right? That is the absolute opposite of what they did. They intentionally brought, and if you look at the papal edict of my learned friend that took me to seminary school, the papal edict of 1490 that granted Columbus the right to go and the stuff, right? That you will understand that that the whole purpose of that is fought over land and resources. It's not religion, but land and resources, possession and the ownership and the taking of these land and resources. To the victor belongs the spoil, right? That's all it is. Now, whether or not, I would not go and entertain the argument of where the religion is made. You know, I know how I feel about it, and I know my studies take me that this religion is divisive and separating black people today. He mentioned Nigeria. There's a lot of people in Nigeria here of the Christian faith, and they angry and fighting together because someone was a Muslim faith. They blame the Muslims for their demise, and the Muslims over there blame the Christians for their demise. This is what's going on today. Even though they obfuscate, a lot of things are obfuscated, but the very reason religion of the Europeans have destroyed and continue to destroy our country. Not only you want to talk about Hawaii, but what about Australia, New Zealand? Where all the black people were there when they arrived? Not of them. Less than 3% of the people in these islands are black people or Aborigines. Us, you know, look at Americas and all like that. We cling to something that was devised or even used. Let me use the word devised. Used to take, to rob, and steal. The army comes in afterwards to enforce the laws that were predicated by their system of religion. And you talk about the Dole Fruit Company. How about the American Fruit Company and Cuba? We hate Cuba. We call Cuba the common country because they threw off the yokes of the American Fruit Company. How about Colombia, Brazil? We call these countries communist countries against the American way of life, and it was the very American food companies and the torture and the subjugation and taking of these people's land that they fought against. And we call them communists, right? You know, even our history is so distorted that we actually call ourselves savages. How dare we? And that we were brought over here, and there's no substantial rate that we were brought here as ignorant savages. We came over here with skill set, and I can stand by everything I say, and I can point out to you that the 10 countries that were brought on the east coast of the Americas were from 10 countries of skilled labor people and knowledgeable people, right? And they were brought here for a reason, because these people were too ignorant to build their own buildings, because they were city folk, not farmers. They were, you know, they didn't know how to build. They were lords. They were lords of people searching money. These people didn't know how to build, how to irrigate crops, right? It was the very people that were here, and the very people they brought over to substantiate that, to build the nation they had, so they can accrue the wealth. And religion is not even a part of it. It's the way that we see it. And we talk about the Willie Lynch story. I dare defy anybody to bring up, besides me, about the slave Bible. The slave Bible, the very Bible.
Gotta wrap it up, Ibrahim.
I'm gonna finish up in just 1 second. The Pentecostal Bible they read from is exactly the copy of the things were taken out. The Bible called the slave Bible that was given to the slave. And I defy anybody to repudiate that and then read. And the things I hear people reading from are the very same things that were using the slave Bible to subjugate and take over the minds and control and the definition for life from the very people that they subjugate. Thank you.
Good deal. Good deal.
I agree. I agree.
Let me go to Navy. Navy, good morning. How you doing this morning? And Leonard, coming to you next.
Good morning. I'm good. How y'all doing
Hey,
this morning?
doing good. We talk. Is it tough? I'm gonna ask you a very simple question. Is it tough being black in America? Do we have it worse than anybody else?
Oh, and this ain't even Wednesday.
Exactly.
Okay. Is it tough being black in America? I mean, I can't even say historically, because history is very much slowly repeating itself. Or did history ever go away? I think there are parts of, just to put it mildly, yeah, it is. And it's not in such a way to where you could just answer it just a simple yes or no, because there's so many layers that go along with it. And people may have already or will make the argument that, well, you know, it's about what you put into it, which part of that is true. But what about the other red tape that, you know, if we just want to look at mortgage companies, when we just want to look at, you know, school districts, or, you know, hey, do I need a certain quota of black men or black women at this company just so, you know, I won't get, I mean, there's a lot of layers that goes into it. Is it difficult? Yes. Do we hold some of that? I don't know if do we hold some of that power? Yes. Can we make up for some of the difference? Yes. But does it come easy? Absolutely not.
Wow, that's good. That's good. Leonard, good morning to you. Leonard, how you doing this morning?
Good morning, Raheem.
Hey, doing good, brother. What do you say to that, man? Is it tough historically, or even to present day time? Is it tough being black in America?
For some people, it is. I imagine if that's the perspective you think through. I was fortunate enough to not be raised like that.
Explain that to me.
Me being black. Well, first of all, I was never taught that there was anything wrong with me because I was black. I never had the notion that it was a bad thing to be black, or I should be less than, or any of that, because that was not the way I was raised. So, you know, I've run into some serious situations. I don't usually put my personal business out there, but I fought some serious struggles when it comes to racism. But as a man, that's just what I'm going to do. I'll fight you regardless if you oppose me. So other people may have a problem with me being black, but I don't. And I don't view my life through the lens of color. That's probably one of the only difference between me and a lot of other black people. I really don't care what you think about my color or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you cause conflict with me, I'm gonna give it back, and ain't nothing about me gonna back down about it. So I push the envelope. I always have done that.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stand by myself to be right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need a crowd or any of that to do the right thing.
Okay.
So whether that be friends, popularity, or what have you, I never was interested in that. So I don't have a negative view of being black.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the white man gave you.
Okay.
Now, you can keep it if you want it.
Now, are we
Are we
talking about the view or how we view it, or am I necessarily talking? Or I think, let me put it out there like this: I'm talking about the experience of being black in America. Is it tough? The experience of being black in America, is it tough?
Well, most definitely when you confront racism, it is.
Mm-hmm.
But aside that, no, it's not different at all.
Okay.
Racism is the problem,
mm-hmm.
not me being black.
Okay.
Racism is what you fight against. I don't
Mm-hmm.
fight against people because they white. I
Mm-hmm.
fight against people because they racist.
Are they racist against you because you're black?
Yes.
Okay. That's why I think the problem is right there. Let me go to Cassandra. What's on your heart? Cassandra?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay.
I can't because I'm it's Monday and I'm trying to just like
Come on.
I'm trying to stay focused.
Come on.
I'm trying to stay focused today.
Let's get the week started off right.
I love what everyone is saying. I love everybody's historical, knowledge, and I love all of that. But and knowing that the way that whites used Christianity or religion to bring people, all of that up. Okay, it was true. But my decision to become a Christian was my decision. And I have decided that is the religion that I want to have till the day that I close my eyes. And whatever white people do with it, my religion is about my spiritual connection to God and not about what they have done with it. I don't care about that. I only care about my connection to God, which is a one-on-one relationship. And that's the only thing I'm concerned about. If somebody wants to, like, people use Islam in the wrong way, people use Buddhism in the wrong way. People will take and make stuff look the way they want or use it for whatever purpose I have chosen Christianity because it works for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it. And I will never depart from it. It is spiritual to me, and it's not even about being religious at this point in my life. So I just wanted to say that. Whatever the white man has done with it, I'm a Christian. I will remain a Christian till the day I die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm good.
Good deal. Good deal. Good morning, Mary. How you doing this morning? Mary?
Good morning. How are you?
Can I go next?
I am doing well. I'm just asking, can you speak on this, Mary, or do I need to wait to come back to you with the next topic?
Well, I don't even know what we're answering right now. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We're talking about being. Is it tough? Is it tough? Is it hard? Being black in America.
I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really go outside, so I don't have much of an opinion. But at work, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I pretty much agree with Leonard for the most part. I think it's only a problem if you dwell on it.
Mm-hmm.
I think racial issues are a problem, but I don't think it's a white versus black issue. I just think it's a hatred issue. I don't think it's because of color anymore.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mary, let me ask you: if you had a big bump, and Lord knows I hope this never happened to you, but if you got a big bump in the middle of your forehead, big old bump in the middle of your forehead, you say, "Well, look at here, I'm just not gonna pay no attention to it. I ain't gonna pay no attention to it. It's okay. Bump my forehead is there. I ain't gonna pay no attention to it. Does that make that bump go away? Or does every time you walk into a space, people gonna acknowledge that bump or realize that bump or see that bump?
Well, so does it make it go away? No.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm learning that it's not really about who, if you're white and I'm black and you care that I'm black, it's not my concern.
Mm-hmm.
It's not concerned if you make it an issue or you're discriminating against me, and it's something that, like, if it's at work or something and you discriminate, and then I'm not going to fight you on it, but I will take the appropriate measures to have equal opportunity. But I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't care what you notice about me, about, like, if you notice that I'm black or if you notice that I'm a black female. I really don't care. It doesn't do anything to me.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you start to make it a problem, then that's when I'll handle the problem. But other than that, I'm learning to not even care about what people think about what my race is, because I'm not concerned about that. I don't operate from a black place. I just operate from my own personality. So I have amazing white friends and amazing black friends. I don't really look at it like that, and I don't care that other people look at it like that.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Let me go to Monique. Monique, good morning. How you doing this morning? Monique, you there? Okay, Monique may have stepped away for a second. Willa!
Hey, good morning, Raheem. Good morning.
Good morning, Willa. How you doing this morning?
I am doing awesome this morning. I am, Raheem. I'm feeling good this morning.
I see you a little peppy. I see you a little peppy there. You got a little peppy in you. But I want to ask you the question. Is it tough historically or present day time? Is it tough or has it been tough being black here in America?
Well, first I want to say good morning to Morning Glow. And I'm going to say historically, yes, it has been tough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to say, yes, it is tough now, especially in the city of Chicago. It's tough, not so much with the racism. It is. It's still a small amount, still a certain percentage. That's going to be always to the end of time. But I think that our culture, we're missing the love for one another. We're missing what brought us together and kept us together in the beginning. We're missing that historic bond that brought them through the hardest time of their life, from our history, from what I know, from my grandparents and my great aunts and things that they went through, the cornfields and the picking the cotton and dealing with racism at a higher level, weren't able to go to the same school or drink out the same fountains. We don't have that somewhat today. We don't. We still have the racism and hidden racism, but more so with us, ourselves, our culture. We're missing that bond, a bonding together to take us to the next level. You know, I think about, I don't know if you ever ran track or no track,
yes.
And you know that 4-4, that 440 relay,
yes,
where they pass the baton. And then I think that we're missing that third baton where they didn't set that point. He didn't got us to this race and we dropped the baton. And right there, we're stuck and nobody's picking it up to take us to the next level. So I think we're missing that love for one another. We don't have any with no thought process about life. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. They're just shooting and they don't care. So yeah, are we having a hard time in America today? Yes, we are.
Wow.
We certainly are.
Good deal. Badger, what's on your heart? Rico, coming to you next.
You know, I actually have a question. With the experiences that I have, because, I talk to Leonard. Leonard, me and Leonard talk off and on all the time. or a good bit, excuse me. Um, the communities that I was around growing up were very family oriented. Neighbors helped each other and all kinds of stuff. And I'm talking about in the black communities I was around. And then when I came to Texas, I didn't really see that anymore. And I could never understand why there was such a difference and why there was so much um trying to figure out how to word. I don't know if I know the word for that. It was
Divisiveness. Divisiveness.
yeah. It totally threw me off, and I went to like a culture shock
Mm-hmm.
because I went from being around people that like just about every weekend, or like from either every weekend or or like twice a month, there'd be like this neighborhood gathering.
Mm-hmm.
And the grandparents that stayed home, while the parents were working and stuff, neighborhood kids would be out playing around, and people were helping one another and stuff like that. And I was like, well, why can't white folks do that? you know well, why can't we follow this amazing example of how to live together? And all of a sudden, when I came to Texas, it was so vastly different that I couldn't understand it, of why in the big cities was it so crime ridden.
Mm.
And that caused me to study even more and get into like what could have caused it, what are the things that could have caused it and stuff. And I'm like, if they if both of those communities dealt with crime, uh, uh, and racism and things of that nature, why did this community turn out this way and this community turn out that way?
Mm.
And why is the one that I ran into in Houston, Texas, the one that seems to be becoming more and more common than the other one?
Mm. Wow. Wow. Heck of a question, brother. Heck of a question. I wish I knew the answer, but I don't. I don't, because it's, I guess, geographic. I don't know. I don't know what the answer to that particular question is. Let me go to Rico. Rico, let me ask you this question. Rico, you there?
Yeah, I'm right there.
Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, if they were to come back in this day and time, would they be pleased with the progress that we as a society has made, or would they say that we've pretty much like we say on here a lot, dropped the ball?
Man, they'll mess around and see all these metrosexuals running around here snapping their fingers and popping and twirling their neck like women, man. They'll listen to these boys up here rapping about shooting their ops and disrespecting the mamas of these little young boys, and they'll listen. They'll see, oh man, they'll see our billionaires and celebrities
Mm-hmm.
comparing themselves to God because they're rich.
Mm.
I mean, they would see this, and oh man, I can only imagine, you know what I'm saying, how they would look at some of these things and be like, man, what, y'all forgetting the purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all dropping the ball. It really did turn into a nightmare. You mean to tell me y'all got just as vain and addicted to consumption and stuck on celebrating integration to the point to where you didn't realize that was going to be another race the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Willis said something big. It's not only that we dropped the baton, but for some reason after integration, it seemed like we stopped practicing to even be in the race.
Mm.
The Jews kept practicing. But see, like what Badger was saying, why can't we have some of these communities where, you really can't, you got to have a relationship to be able, to get with the people you need to have these type of communities.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are caught up in a situation or condition where you don't have time to build relationships with these people you're supposed to grow with, then y'all ain't gonna never be able to compete in the same race with everybody else, because it take practice. It take time for you to get the timing down and understand how to pick up and how to reach back and get the baton when the other one gets so close to you. You have to learn each other. and find out how each other how each person will complement each other.
Mm-hmm.
What we need to do to accomplish the same goal. But do you even have the same goal? Most of us don't have the same goal.
Mm-hmm.
Some of us just want to be as rich as we could be. Then some of us say, well, you know what, man, I want my people to get justice. I want to fix this judicial system. I want to fight the powers and the things in place that are still a problem for my people that for some reason we seem to have forgotten, or we think it ain't bad no more.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, yeah, if they came and saw this and saw how happy people were, and I mean, no, I don't know. I take that back, man. You know, I think they did have a clearer picture of what needed to be done and what was going to happen. But then you have those that really didn't have the vision that they had, but reaped the benefit of it. Those older people from the past that actually say that, hey, man, y'all should be happy.
Yeah.
Y'all should be glad. Y'all got this, y'all got that, y'all got this, y'all got that, you know. And so I don't think they would have that same mindset. I think they would come in because they knew the bigger issues. They knew the deeper issues was bigger than just consuming and obtaining, you know what I'm saying, the pleasures and the recreational parts of life, the luxuries. It was bigger than having just the luxuries, but it was as big as just having basic opportunities to have a chance to have your God-given rights, to participate fairly.
Exactly.
You know, and when you look at it, sometimes we may think that we are in a good place and we're not. So I don't think they would be satisfied. They would look at the conditions and look at what we promote and what we embrace and what we consider our culture and what we strive to accomplish and achieve, and they'll be disappointed.
Wow. To
Can I ask that question from generational,
Ibrahim. Ibrahim. Hold on.
I want to just bring something.
Okay,
to it.
Ibrahim, hold on, brother. You know, we do this a certain way, brother. We do this a certain way. I'll come back to you. Toya with a T, what do you say to that? Would they be happy? Would they be pleased? Or would they be totally disappointed?
You know what? I don't know, but I'm not happy. I don't know. Maybe they might just be happy that we're just alive. Maybe they might just be happy that we're just free. Maybe they might just be happy that we just get the vote, but I'm not. We playing games out here. We are not where we're supposed to be. And I don't need Martin and Malcolm to tell me that. We don't respect each other. We don't do right when it comes to law. We don't make sure we get our education. We don't invest in ourselves. We don't invest in our communities. We don't invest in our kids and teach them the right way to do. We run out on each other. We use each other for whatever little manipulative way or thing or con we can. So I don't know about Martin and Malcolm. I know I'm not. I'm not talking about the 17 black people that halfway do right. You know, Michelle, Barack, and them baby girls. No, I'm not talking about the 17 of them. I'm talking about the majority of us, the ones that I'm out here in the streets with. The one who live up to the reputation, the robbing and stealing and just foolishness. I use the other word on regular social media, but I know I'm not. Exactly. I'm not even 100% happy with the choices and decisions that I've made. And I'm 45, and I knew doggone well when I was born in 77 that we had issues out here in the black community, and I still decided to be a damn knucklehead. So I don't know what's going on with, I don't know what Michael or Malcolm or what Martin or Malcolm would say, but I know I say we got a lot of work to do to move just our community forward. I'm not talking about all kumbaya and everybody. We can't kumbaya nobody else until we kumbaya ourselves. So right now, I am not happy with the state of Black America. I am not secure in the fact that we're going to be moving forward in a positive, up-moving fashion. And I don't think that we're handling the business. We dropped the ball, period, point blank.
Good deal. And Toya, I thought you was going to add, I said Malcolm and Martin. I thought you was going to add Michael Jackson on in there. When you said Michael, I said, oh, she would add Michael Jackson.
I almost did. I had to either him looking at the man in the mirror.
Exactly. Go. I love how you did that. Good segue. Captain, talk to me, Captain. If Martin and Malcolm was here, what would they want to change in this society today to put us in a better place?
I'm sure Malcolm would be so upset that we have reduced him to a quote by
Wow.
any means necessary. And
Mhm.
Martin would be upset that we have reduced him to a quote that I had a dream.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
sure they would definitely be upset. But let me say this. I want to say that we're not speaking historically about Christianity. I don't want my sister to think I'm condemning Christians,
Mhm.
that I'm throwing down on Christians because I'm giving a historical fact. You know, the religions that they instituted or brought had nothing to do with Jesus. That's religion. And I like my sister. Stick to what works for you. But remember, every prophet that came in the name of God had to take people out of a traditional thinking. The Quran says, would you believe like my forefathers believed? If what they believed was wrong, and that I come to bring you truth and life, you can continue to say, well, that's the way it is. That's the way I believe. I'm going to stick. No. Everybody comes and brings man to a closer. So that's why I said, how can they know unless they be taught? And how can they be taught unless they have a teacher? And how can you have a teacher unless God send them somebody?
Mhm.
So if God sent us somebody to take us out of ignorance, take us out of ignorance into life, don't say, well, that's just the way it is. Grow. I used to be a Christian. If somebody told me, man, the reason why I don't eat pork is because it's an animal, man, that can absorb poison. You can't poison the pig. It's unfit to be eaten. But hey, I don't eat pork. I don't care about all that. And then the doctors tell you, you eat pork, you're going to do this, you're going to get trichinosis. I said, why somebody bring you facts? Change. They don't have nothing to do with taking nothing away from you. We can't get comfortable in our little isms. If somebody brings you knowledge, then accept the knowledge. That's why we read. That's why we went to school. We're going to continue to believe that Christopher Columbus discovered America when we know the truth. Well, I believe we discovered. Even though we know the truth, we change.
Mhm.
There's nothing wrong with change. It takes you out your comfort zone, yes. But doggone, don't just say that's the way it is. If it makes you feel good, fine. But let me tell y'all something. The first of the year, I'm not sure, because I heard what Willa said in Chicago, and I like what she said. We got to address our own self-destruction. I don't give a doggone what white people. We are killing each other at an alarming rate, and it's lack of luck. Let me tell you what I'm doing, Willa, and you'll see me when I come to Chicago. At the first of the year, I came to Chicago 4 years ago under Russell sponsored me to do a tour. It was called a barbershop. I went into 17 barbershops right there in Chicago, and Obama's barbershop. I went to his barbershop too, and I had all them youngins, the Crips, the Bloods, the GBs, because they don't go out to the church. The barbershop, they feel comfortable, and we created a barbershop discussion that got these young people talking about how come you killing one another, young man? And we should hear the answer. Man, they bring trains in with guns. We never had this cat. It ain't about, we listened. So here's what we did. Charles Oakley, the ball player, called me. He said, Captain, can we do a national barbershop tour the first of the year? He said, I would bring Michael, I would bring MJ, Michael Jordan. He said, I would bring all the former ball players. And we would go into every city. And we would announce the barbershop. Everybody would know. And we're not coming to talk to you. We're coming in to listen to you. And since they got that celebrity status, that's an opportunity. So we took and say, man, LeBron James go be at your barbershop in Chicago, Illinois, at the barbershop. The place gonna be packed. Now, when we get them there, we gotta talk to these youngsters about the self-destruction, the love. So what we call in the tour is Love Yourself and Kind Tour.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing, Willa. We're doing it in every major city. I'm coming to Atlanta. We're putting it to it, and guess what? I don't want to tell you who's going to sponsor this tour. I don't even want to tell you the money's going to get behind this tour. But it's the only thing I know what to do. This is Brother Dennis's contribution to trying to. I'm not going to talk about it. Because once I take these celebrities into these cities, man, and we ain't just talk about the ball players. I talk to Queen Latifah for the women. We got to go into the beauty salon. I talk to some of the other celebrities. They want to get on board because you know why? Everybody's tired. They all want to unite together. Let's do this, Captain. I love this. And if we can get this ball rolling, man, Then all of the business people could jump on board and let's create some economic development. Then all the spiritual people could jump on board. Let's get God back into it. Then all the things. If we were to line up at the voting booth like we lining up at the daggone lottery tickets today, can you imagine the changes we make? If we did that, if black people line up at the voting booth Tuesday like we lining up to get the lottery ticket, we have the power. But I don't want y'all to give up hope. I want y'all to know there is somebody. Let me tell you something. Dissatisfaction brings about a change. If you're not dissatisfied, something's wrong with you.
Good deal.
But I'm not going to be dissatisfied and don't try to change it. I'm telling you what Brother Dennis is doing. Maybe you're doing something else. I gave you my plan. You don't have to like it. But doggone it, to do nothing is not an option with me. I can't talk about it. I got to be about it.
Good deal.
And I'm using every gift that God has given me. All the people that I know, Fat Joe, all of them said, "Make sure we done." I'm waiting. As soon as I get the people to put that millions of dollars behind it, I can fly everybody in, take the cities. We may do 5 barbershop places. You'll hear about it. Then you can show up. And what can you can show up and you can sit among these youth, and we don't have to talk about them. We can talk to them and not talk at them.
Absolutely, absolutely. Good deal, good deal. Let me go to Annette. Annette, what's on? Good morning, Annette. How you doing this morning?
You know what? I'm doing fantastic for that. I man, fantastic.
We're talking about is it tough, and is it tough, or historically, or today's present time, is it tough being black in America?
I was talking to my mother, and she is 81 years old. Yes, it's tough being black in America. However, you have to honor who you are. And when you honor who you are and you love who you are, it makes it good, because God is really good. I do believe that we can always take things to the bridge in the negative way. But I do know what happens when we have our mind right and we have a plan. That, let me tell you, labor doesn't short anybody. So if you have a plan and you have a blueprint and you stick to your plan and follow your blueprint, it does work. It works. It works like a champ. So we just have to have a plan. It's, I understand how you flow, and I like flowing, by the Holy Spirit, but I also like putting plans together. Like next week, I'll be in San Francisco, and I'm speaking regarding the biochemical triclosan. Triclosan is in soaps, bath and body works. It's in laundry detergent. And so I'm telling you that. I'm speaking before, health practitioners all around the world. But here's the thing. There's a lot of things that are killing us. And we as individuals and our family, we have to develop a mission statement for our friendships and our family and say, hey, this is how we're going to operate. That's what the old school did. And last, there is a statute in front of the Capitol. It is the 33 African-American Republicans who got expelled from the Georgia General Assembly during Jim Crow. Everybody should, when they go to Capitol, they should look at that statute. That statute was sculpted by a Black man in Los Angeles. I'm telling you that to say that, you know what, there are a lot of times we overlook our goodness, how we created patents, everything. Let's go to the good. Let's go to the good, put a blueprint together, put a plan together for our future generations, and let's go get it.
Good deal, good deal. Navy, what's on? Shanavia, I'm gonna call your whole name.
Where the Capitol is that? What part of Georgia Capitol is that?
It's on the east side of the Capitol, and it's on the east side of the Capitol. If you were at Liberty Plaza and you were facing toward the Capitol, it's right there on the left side of Martin Luther King. So Martin Luther King is right close to the street. The statue is to the right of Dr. Martin Luther King, and it's a beautiful statue. It has a boat. It has women and men together. It has a cross. It is the best statue that I've ever seen in my life.
Good deal. Good.
Is that in Georgia?
That's in Georgia. It's on the right at the Georgia Capitol. and it's on the grass.
Okay.
Yes. Just,
All right, got to keep it moving. Got to stay right there. We got to keep it moving. We only got a few more minutes, so we got like about 5 minutes. So we got to get on out of here. Navy, what's on your heart? Ibrahim, coming to you next.
Oh man, I'm just taking everything in too. But I do want to put this out there. Mr. Catherine, whenever you get ready to do that tour, could you please put Mississippi on that list as well? But no, I'm just taking everything in and listening. I do agree with what majority of everyone, well, I pretty much agree with what everyone has said. I think that somewhere along the line, we became characters in a book instead of the editor and narrator of it. So I think that we're in a transition right now to where we're trying to gain back I don't want to say power, but yeah, the power. Like we're trying to be the narrators and the editors of our history and of our future, instead of like not utilizing the blueprint laid before us. So that's it.
Good deal. Good deal. Ibrahim, what's on your heart? Badger, coming to you next.
Yeah, you're getting back to what Captain Dennis said. You know, it's better to do something than nothing. I wholeheartedly agree.
Yes.
I might disagree with what group is being brought in, what they got to say, but I do agree that what he's doing is the right thing to do. Right, it's grassroots level. Now, getting back to what the question was asked, what would Martin Luther King and Malcolm X said? Well, we forget that Malcolm X became Malik Shabazz al-Hadi. He made a transition. Martin Luther King grew to become a man looking at the economic and social well-being of his community, right? They would first look at this community because the bourgeoisie of the Black community is obfuscated and glorified themselves to make us believe that it was a different thing that occurred and lose track of what's ahead of them. You can go around today in Atlanta and you would think that that Black people had arrived at great heights and wealth in some of the neighborhoods that, you know, I visit or be around, right? Or was in. But at the same time, you know, when we say, a lot of times I hear the word I, and me, and my, and we forget that, you know, no man's an island. You know, it takes all of us to bring the freedom to all of us. If one is not free, as Sister Fannie Lou Hamer said, then nobody is free. You know what I mean? So we have to understand it's a collective, it's a community, like Badger said. It's a community that's lost. Now, when they would look at first, they would see that. They would see all the guys that come. They would see the jobs that Black people couldn't even get. I don't care how qualified they were. They would see the gangs of Black people, and they would be astounded and feel pleased with themselves. Then when they hear the people and they see the communities, right, the lumpen proletariat and the working class being ignored, they would look upon this and find horror because they would see, like a lot of us see, ourselves rolling back to where it was. And I tell Black people, man, you are in a state right now. You are in a state right now where you are far exceeded at anything we could even imagine to be. But at the same time, you are allowing this to bring you back to where we were and below where we were. You know, back when our ancestors handed us, we increased. And those ancestors before, when their ancestors got handed something, they increased, right? They expanded. They grew. They were powerful. They became powerful, right? Now we have no power. We're like a ship without a rudder. You know, we all over the place, and we forget the main core. We forget the working class people that make this country, that build this country, right? We care what the bourgeoisie say. Every time you see some bourgeois, people run to it. You know, the NWP now having parties, celebrating people, patting people on the back. The Black Panther parties are awarding people, this soldier, boots on the ground, right? And do nothing, right? And does nothing.
Wrap it up for me, brother.
Okay. So what I'm saying, yeah, they would be amazed at the accomplishments, right? And then at the same time, they'd be quickly saddened and in fear of what the outcome will be as we are continuing forward.
Absolutely. I said I'm gonna go to somebody next. I can't remember who it was. So let me go to Uncle Sam. Okay, Badger. Badger, what's on your heart, brother?
You know, the reason I threw the question out there that I threw out there is Cap said something earlier, which is something that, you know, I bring up quite often, and about the religion and spirituality stuff. And how like that has affected things with and it's man, it's hard for me to get emotional about this one because, You know, a couple of weeks ago, I made a comment of how our society has so much to be thankful for that was done by Black people,
Mm-hmm.
showing us what strength is, showing us how to survive even in the worst situations, and all kinds of amazing things. And to see the other side that I really wasn't as exposed to until I came to Texas was really strange. I went from knowing a very strong-willed people that didn't let bias or other things stop them from doing the best they can, to a whole different mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, to me, there was no difference between the Black struggle and the Native American struggle. I viewed it as the same. And it's it's insane, and it's really hard to grasp. And yet, when we see the news and we see these other things, and they're talking about, these this narrative that gets pushed, how can you expect anyone from the outside from the outside looking in, to not be confused?
Mm. Wow. Wow. Let's keep this thing going. We got we already over 10, so we're gonna just be here a few more minutes. So everybody give me your absolute quick version of what you want to say. Leonard, what's on your heart, brother?
Just listening, you can go past. No, life is what you make of it.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, if you want to be a slave, that's what you will be.
Mm-hmm.
If you just got, for some reason, some people don't want to let that which is not good for them go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm blessed to say that the majority of the people that I associate with and that I know are some of the best people in the world
Mm-hmm.
that I've ever met. And
Yeah.
I've been a lot of places, but it don't matter where I go. I know good people from bad people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to be with the good people.
Absolutely.
I'm not somewhere sitting around praying for the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
That
is not my goal in life, to make everybody like me. That I don't even, I can't understand it, but sometimes I believe we go too far.
Mm-hmm. Good deal. Good deal.
What would Malcolm and Martin think? They would be excellent because they know from where they started. You didn't start where they started. You started somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So don't try to co-opt their story into your narrative and continue to ride what they did, unless you're trying to go further.
Mm-hmm. Mary?
I'm here.
Okay. Anything on your heart before we get out of here?
Not at the moment.
Okay. Okay.
I got something.
Okay, hold on. Toy, you with a T?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, do not let anyone define who you are. You are who you choose to be. So, great show as usual, brother. Great feedback from everybody on here. I appreciate y'all and love y'all so much.
Hey, love you as well, sis. Rico.
Yeah, man, make an effort, be consistent, and if you choose to support somebody that has the potential to be a very powerful influencer, make sure they're consistent too.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to go back to, because I could sense that Cassandra was sort of feeling like, some of the comments was a knock on Christianity. And I want to get people to sort of understand, sometimes we hear words that might relate to us, but they don't really, we're not really trying to come off against Christianity is what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
I think we were trying to make the point that some dirty people use that as a tool. Mm-hmm. They had an ulterior motive. So, I mean, there was no knock on Christianity or being missionaries or trying to introduce Jesus to Aboriginals.
Mm-hmm.
The knock is the fact that those people use something so good
mm-hmm.
as a tool to come in and do something different.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
then said that the Lord gave them the right to husband. That's the word that they use.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii, which means claim Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
for profitability.
Exactly.
So, you know, I don't want anybody to think that, you know, when I was making my comments that I was saying it to knock Christianity. No, I'm knocking the people that I'm gonna say took the opportunity to manipulate Christianity to compete their control and their imperial agenda.
Good deal. Good deal. Got to
Yeah,
keep this thing moving. Let me go to Annette. Annette, what's on your heart, sis?
you missed me.
Annette.
Like I say is, I love Jesus. I worship and adore him, but it's by the Spirit of the living God. So a lot of things are by the Spirit. It's what's inside of you. So I encourage each and every one, you know what, if we tap into people, let's tap into what is in them. The Latin word education is educare, and it means to bring out. So let's bring out of people the best in them so that we can transform communities. That's what I have to say.
Girl, you must have went to one of them old good old schools. See, we went. I know. I can't speak from. I went to public school. Them any college and every libraries. I ain't know about all that stuff now. I went to public school. I'm just saying me. I went to public school. Cassandra, what's on your heart? Look, sure you did, sis. Yeah. Cassandra, what's on your heart?
Yeah, you know, I don't know why I feel like I always have to defend myself, and I don't know. We keep saying that, you know, if people let people's work and what they do speak for them, and I'm for good people. I'm like Leonard. If you're doing good and I'm trying to do good, then why is there always like a hit to me? It's like people come at me because of what I say about what is good. I'm not attacking anybody. I'm just saying what I believe is what I believe. What I stand for is what I stand for. No knock on anybody else. I'm happy to be on here with people from the Muslim community. I'm happy to be on here with people from the Great Spirit community like Badger. If there are Buddhists on here, I'm just glad to be with good people. Why can't we just see the good in each other and not try to find anything else? If we have our difference of opinions on things, it's okay. It's perfectly okay.
I think.
But I know that what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to do good. And if you can't see that, then we're not even on the same ground. We're not on the same talking ground. We're not on the same ground at all. Because to come at people just because of what they say or what they feel, I feel like it's not right.
I think what was happening, and the way I took it, and I certainly could be wrong. I've been wrong before. I might be wrong one more time before I leave here. But what I think it was, people didn't want to have you to think that they was attacking you in a way, and it was almost like an olive branch. They were saying, you know, that's not what we're doing, sis. We're not coming at you. We're not coming against your faith and how you believe. I think that's what's happened during that particular time. I don't think anyone was really trying. And if there was, you know, certainly they could speak up. But I don't think anyone was trying to attack. I don't think so. But let me go on to Joseph. Joseph, what's on your heart?
Yes, I just wanted to say I agree with Brother Cap. We got to be about action and doing something constructive to improve conditions in our community. This past Saturday at the UGA campus in Griffin was a very eye-opening experience for me. First of all, it was a chance for dialogue with others in the community. You know, Brother Charleston White had some very powerful points to make. There were some points that I disagree with him on, but shout out to Judge Dexter Winbish for trying to bring that together. It's supposed to have involved high school students from Griffin, and some of those schools are facing some problems with violence and so on and so forth. But someone spoke against the speaker, and so the kids didn't show up, and it was kind of like a letdown in that regard. But we got to find opportunities to have conversation with our young people And we've got to listen, as Brother Cap said. It's more about listening than it is about speaking, really. You know, but and then on that Michael Martin thing, that was social engineering. We must reflect on that. That was social engineering. Those in the power places decided that those two men had to be removed, and those under them, many of, not all, but many of them were bought off or given, you know, positions in government and board, corporate boards and things like that. And so it weakened the civil rights movement. We got to understand that social engineering, because we're dealing with a corrupt system. And I like the way everybody exposed that system and exposed how religion was used. Now, my personal savior is Jesus Christ. My personal savior. I have a personal relationship with Christ, the spiritual Christ that the sister was talking about, not the one, not the American or the capitalist Jesus, but the Jesus in the book.
Now, preacher, now you can't wait till the end of the broadcast when you know we got to get out of here and bring in a sermon. Now, you know, now, preacher, you can't do that now.
No, but I agree with sister. I love Christ.
There you go.
I love him.
Absolutely,
Amen.
absolutely. Well,
Yes, Raheem. Yes, Raheem. What's going on?
and anything you want to say before we get out of here? Anything in your clothes? Give me a quick version now. Don't do like preaching now. Give me a sermon now. Give me a quick version.
I'm not. I'm just gonna say that everybody has a story. The older you get, the larger your stories become, the greater they are. But when we know change, we change from the inside out, not from the outside in. It's always good to love one another, treat one another as you have each one as you would have to treat yourself.
Good.
And that's what I want to say.
Good deal. Now, Captain, I'm coming to you now. I know you say you're an old, frustrated Baptist preacher. I don't need no sermon right now. I need your quick version now, Captain. Give me your quick version. What you want to say before we get out of here?
And I love everybody. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
I thank you so much for explaining to sister that we was not attacking her. I have mad love for her, but we just didn't make sure that she didn't misunderstand us. And man, I just love, man. I appreciate this was a great one. This was a great one today.
Yes, sir.
And everybody, may God bless you all. And as Russell would say when he was on the follow, good night. Have a good evening.
Exactly. Rico, what's going on today at 3 o'clock, sir? Is anything going on today at 3 o'clock?
Yes, I'm going on. If you missed today's broadcast live, you can see the rebroadcast in its entirety at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on www.dkmmediagroup.com.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well,
Raheem, come on, let's go. Let's go, Raheem.
Well, are you ready?
Raheem, I am so ready to receive God's words this morning. I'm ready, Raheem.
Well,
let's go.
Well, you know what? I ain't gonna say nothing else, but let's go.
Let's go, Raheem.
Dad.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Yes, ma'am.
I said, I just wanted to put my prayer request in.
Go ahead, put your prayer request in, baby.
Well, you know what's going on, so I don't know. They're probably saying it, but I just need a whole lot of favor.
Just have God, have the Lord to cover her, Willa. Have the Lord to cover her.
Amen. 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 We're gonna go before the throne of grace this morning, and we're gonna go with boldness, confidence, and expectations. First, we want to just thank God for waking us up this morning. He didn't have to do it, but he did it anyway. Father, we thank you, Lord. Father, I'm asking for prayer for Mary this morning, Lord. Father, we don't know what's going on in her life, but Father, you do. Father, you said that you are omnipresent, God. Father, you say that you know all, even the hairs on our head. Father, you know how many there are. So I'm asking you, oh Lord, whatever's going on with her, oh Lord, I'm asking you to touch her in a mighty way, Lord. Father, cancel anything the enemy thinks he has plans for her life, oh Lord. Father, I'm asking you to do it in Christ Jesus' name. Father, I'm asking you to touch each and every last one that's on this line, Lord. Father, you said it in your word that you see the hearts of men, oh Lord. And Father, I believe and trust your word. I stand on your promises, Lord. Father, I believe that you can do anything but fail, Lord. I'm asking you, oh Lord, to keep the angels surrounded around us, Lord, protecting us, oh Lord. Father, I'm asking you, Lord, to allow the Holy Spirit to dwell in our lives, oh Lord, so that the Holy Spirit will keep us, Lord, guide us, Lord, help us, Lord, show us your way, oh Lord. Father, I believe that the Holy Spirit will give us the understanding that we need to live in this evil and wicked world, Lord. Father, I know that it's your plan, oh Lord. And Father, I know that you're going to get the victory, oh Lord. Father, I know that you're going to bring us over all the mountains in our lives, oh Lord, and pick us up down through the valleys, oh Lord. Father, I believe it. I believe that it's already done. I trust you and I trust no man, Lord. Father, I know, Lord, that your mercy and grace still runs through this land, Lord. Father, we thank you. We honor you and we glorify you, oh Lord. Father, thank you for Raheem and his family, oh Lord. Keep them safe, oh Lord. Thank you for DKM Radio, Lord. Father, we honor you, we glorify you, and we praise you in Jesus' name. Amen, amen, amen. We thank you, Lord, and it's already done and it's sealed in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. It's been a great broadcast. I want to thank everybody. And more than that, I want to thank you for allowing DKM Media Group and Associates and the Morning Glow for being a part of your day. It is now 10:16. You're about to exit the Morning Glow. But before you go, I want you to do me two favors, if you will. One, I want you to continue to pray for us because we're certainly praying for each and every one of you. Number two, why this is real simple. I want you to go out there, find somebody, and give them a hug because you never know. It could be the only hug that they get, or it could very well be their last. Love you, and ain't nothing you could do about it. Have a great day and a better tomorrow. Then we shine some of this light on you for the Morning Glow. Take it out there into this wicked and cruel world that we live in and let your light so shine. If you get an opportunity, give somebody some love. You just might find some love in return. Won't that be a beautiful thing? Have a great day. Take care of each other. And please, please, please be blessed. Love you. See you tomorrow. God say the same.